Good evening and welcome everyone to Odisha MLOS Season 1, and this is the round of 32, the best of 3 between Team Eliminators and Team Vintage Plays. And I am your caster Asriya, and joining me today is Shinryu. So hi there, Shinryu.
Hey Asuya, it's great to be back, to the MLOS Mobile Legends Orisa series, and we are kicking off that pre-quarterfinals today. So right now we have Team ET on the red side and Team VP, that is Team Vintage Plays, on the blue side. So we are already in the banning section. So I think we're gonna see some spicy bans coming in, as you can see the Fanny being that first ban from the side of Team Vintage Plays.
So true, Fanny being a fire pick right now,
Time to take
especially
the
after the buff
field.
she
Your
received.
team
But
is
then again, I
banning.
have never seen Sarar Moon on a Fanny. So, but then again, banning out a Fanny is the obvious choice here because you never know. She's banned most of the time. So, with that, the second ban
Still
right there
waters
will
run
be
deep.
Your team is
Bruno. And
banning.
obviously, like we all know, he is a great pick right now, especially after the Malefic ban. So, he will also be banned out. And with that, I do see two assassins from the side of Team Vintage. Maybe they're just trying to, lock down Sarar Moon's heroes right there.
Yes, definitely. The assassin ban also opens up that, prio backlane type of gameplay. They can play that Sicilian onto the backline. That mid to late game power spike would be really something that the side of Team VP might be going for in this game. But again, there are a lot of heroes to play with in the map. And I think right now the main focus is that side lanes. For example, the fighters, the stanky fighters is something these teams really require to start the flow of the game. They
Butterflies
need
born
somebody to
Your
as I
engage,
team
to
wish,
is
go in, to
banning.
give
guided
those sets
by
for their
lantern's
side. So
light.
you can see that Zushin getting banned is something, not very uncommon to us because the mid control from Zushin is really, really annoying. Those frontliners don't stand a chance when she's in the map.
I mean, true, but then again, she does have a few, just a few though, weaknesses. And I think, when it comes to ET, they will be able to just um, go over everything with the aggro kind of gameplay they have. And with that, four of the bans set right there. There might be a Suyo
Sand
ban
rises
incoming,
when I
Your
and
give the
yes, it
team
is
word.
a
is
Khalid, which
banning.
has been banned out. Well, he did receive some nerfs, but then again, it did not impact the overall performance of this hero. So I would say it is a nice ban because Legend really loves to play a Khalid.
Indeed, what surprises me is the side of Team VP did not ban that
My mission
Mathilda here
is
in
to
this game.
protect
We know that the
lives.
Your
side of
team
Team
is
ET
picking.
are really comfortable with that hero, and once again, the final ban would be that high loss on that side of Team ET. So with that, both the chip as well as that Mathilda is up for the take, but let's see what the side of Team VP might prioritize here. They can go for that early Sicilian, but that will, reveal a lot about their draft. Once again, they have the chance to pick a good EXP laner like the Gatot Kacha, which is still up for the take. The Phobius is also for the pick, but I don't think so. They might go for an early Phobius pick here.
I am
Your
more
Oh,
team
than
is
a
and
picking.
instead of
weapon.
all those picks, it will
Experience
be
the
Ace
youth
grabbing
in you
onto Julian.
suffering.
I do not think so that he is a great pick here. Although from level 3 he can start his massacre, he can be there for the early game aggro. But then again, um, ET is a team who really loves to play on the aggro, especially Art if he goes in with a Hilda, because Hilda is open and Matilda is also open, the chip is also open, so we really need to see which
Fight.
roamer will
The
Art take up,
ultimate
and it
is
will be the
picking.
Hilda. So yes, a really, 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 you know, aggro coming from the side of Team ET. I am sure because Art will not let Julian farm pretty easily, especially Legend if he goes in with a Gatot Kacha. It will be really hard for them.
Always on the way.
Indeed, and here comes the Mathilda that we were really talking about. But again, Art with that Hilda is really, really annoying, to any jungler that comes in the opponent side. He is that constant, presence the side of Team VP has to deal with because once he goes into the jungle section, you just watch him, go with a 20% HP and he walks out, completely healed with the
Only
passive that this
love
Hilda
and
provides
night
to that
Your
hero.
are
But
team is
everlasting.
picking.
yes, that will be something the side of Team VP might have to look for. But again, that Sicilian does get picked, as the third pick from the side of Team VP here. And I think, they are playing for that front to back composition, and the scaling is pretty good because they have that Julian for that early game. So far the draft is looking pretty balanced, I would say. But again, with the grandeur, that is a lot of damage as well. That item reliant hero Once he comes online, the damage will be placed continuously because with the revamped grandeur, you know how strong he is in the current meta. And to round that draft before the second banning phase would be that CC. What are your thoughts about that pick?
Well, Cece, she is a great hero when it comes to the laning phase because she can solo any of the fighters in front of her. Because of her passive, she just heals up. She doesn't even need those boosts because she does have the speed up with her passive. And then again, let's just see how it works out because right now, if you ask me, the side of Team Vintage draft, especially with the Matilda and the Sicilian pick, looks really great to me because
I
Julian
am
can be
not
there
the
for the
only
early
one
right from
bound
level
by
3.
these
But then again,
chains.
Matilda is a hero when she is in your team composition. You can go for anything. You can go in for a dive in, and especially since maybe ET might look to ban Agatot Kacha. So yeah, because if he is taken up, there will be a dive in,
The
and the
immortal one
disengage
chose me
coming
to
from those
vanquish the
guidance wings
shadows
from
that
our
plague
Matilda will
this
be really
world.
useful. And towards the late game, those heals, those shields she provides are insane. So yeah, and especially like they do have an early with that they even picked up a Sicilian. He is the king nowadays. His sanguine claws and the bad impact, it kind of starts hurting, especially towards the late game.
Indeed, the stacking is really important, and for that, they need a really good early game so that Julian is there. But again, with a Matilda, yes, you do have that frontline presence. You can engage and disengage in most of those fights, but you need somebody to, peel for your team, and for that, they really require a good EXP laner as their frontliner. So I think, narrowing it down from the side of Team ET would be the perfect option right now, but they will instead go for a MM ban, a Van getting banned. I don't think so. Like the side of Team Vintage might have picked that, but again, I think that is a just a precaution they are taking in this game. But a lot of heroes are still open. Let's see what the final ban will be from the side of Team Vintage here.
I mean, just look at the bans coming from the side of Team Vintage. Three of the assassin, the jungle banned
Hope will
away. They
find
do
a
not want
way,
Sararmun on
even when
any,
all is
especially on his
forlorn.
Ling and Suyo, which are his signature picks. And with that, Gatot Kacha onto the grab. Right, let's just see that will Vintage go in for him because he is the firepower, the pick right there with the dive-ins, with the engages towards the late game. He kind of gets immortal with his passive, really, really hard to kill. And with that, I think Bid might go in for a Valentina, one of his favorite picks right there after the Zushin and the Xavier. And I think even he picks it up, it won't be much of a useful pick unless they are predicting something like an AOTG coming from a Gatotkacha. And with that, Bid will
Payback
just be going in
time.
for the zone in with the Farsa, a firepower pick in the hands of Bid.
Definitely, they needed somebody to be that artillery for their side, to give the damage for those team fights to even begin with. And I think the grandeur, but along with the Farsa, looks really scary. The draft is rounded off really well for their side, and they just need that missing puzzle piece, which would be that jungle pick. We need to see what Serrar Moon will go in this game. But again, it's interesting to see because they are predicting what would have been picked from the side of Team Vintage here. They were eyeing for that Valentina pick like you mentioned, but at the last moment they just changed it to a Farsa. So they still have a chance to go for a backline dive hero like the Gadot Kacha, like the Yusong as well. But I don't know if they will pick that here, but they are showing that Yusong as well as a
Let them play
Layla
the hero.
coming in this game.
I
Oh
will
my
be the
god, things just
king
got
this
spiced up
world
here.
desperately needs.
You know, first of all, Hayabusa is open, so maybe Saran Moon goes in with that because he can go in, dive in, behind the lines, take down the Sicilian because the Sicilian will be the bone of contention in those team fights, and someone is really needed who can actually reach this king because most of the time this guy is so chunky, kind of sustainable, and really hard to kill because of the range. But then the same goes for the Lela because she will be having an amazing amount of range with the Malefic gun, and not to mention Lela is kind of a meta pick right now. She has climbed up meta because of that Malefic gun. Like towards the late game, she can just stay behind so far away, even behind the base, behind the crystal, and just two shot everyone. But then again, I think Farsa is an amazing pick right here just because of that Lela, because she is someone who
See
can
value in
safely
me?
bombard that Lela,
You
especially because
should.
she will also be going in for the wind of nature, someone like Hayabusa would have picked up. And with that, it is a Fredrin picked up by Sarar Moon. A very weird choice, if you ask me, because Fredrin is a great pick, but then again, he needs some mobility which he lacks.
Indeed, it's just like a steady pick, I would say, for their side. They are just eyeing for a more frontline type of hero, and the Fredrin does provide a lot of CC. So I don't really know if that's the best pick for this game, but again, it's a staple pick. I would say, it's a safer choice compared to a Hayabusa, which can get punished in the late game, even from a Layla. So once again, they need to play for that late game because Team Vintage, they are more than happy if their heroes get that time, for that late game to come into this game. But again, the side of Team ET, they have a ticking bomb. They need to really play well because if the game stretches too late, the side of Team Vintage can really take the advantage and score this game. But again,
Welcome
we
to
are
MOBA
finally in
Legends!
for the first match
5
in this
seconds till
best
the
of three
enemy
series
reaches the
between Team ET
battlefield.
on the red
Smash
side
them!
and Team Vintage play on the blue side.
All troops
So I think we need
deployed!
to get things rolling here, Asuya.
Well, true, and just like you mentioned before, the late game composition from the side of Team Vintage looks especially beautiful to me because they have our infinitely scaling king of mages, our Sicilian, along with a Lela. But then again, Lela really needs to farm up, and she will be needing some bodyguards for herself. And with that, Yuzhong might be someone who would be doing that, but then again, let's just see if they're able to protect Lela, give her the space, the time which she needs to farm up and get those equipments on. I mean, just look at that legend already trying to harass our Yuzhong, and that's what will be the outcome of the fight because she is so OP in a solo laning phase.
Indeed, that I mean that presence from that legend on that EXP lane is something this Yuzong, that is Sarang, might struggle against. But again, you can see him getting chunked so low. Might have to recall before he can get those minions for himself. But again, the bot lane, look at so much movement already coming from both the sides. That bot lane might be the focal point for this game. So far, you can see the rotation is there.
Oh, I think Price is looking in a very tight spot right there, and it will be the first blood secured by Ace, and the guiding wind guiding him away art and bit a bit too late for the safety. I mean, giving Crisis away in under 2 minutes of the game, things not looking good for them. But then again, look at the assault coming in from Fredrin, and it will be enough as Ace will be taken down, a jungler taken down right in the early game. Not a good trade, and I think it's pretty good when it comes to a jungler for a marksman.
Definitely, they got that jungle prior. Right now, you can see the Fredrin already stealing those creeps away from the Julian. And I would say, once again, the rotation coming in from the side of Team ET was so clean. They were just on the right spot at the right time. And that just made the difference. That Julian would have walked away had the side of
Oh,
Team. Oh, but the top lane, look at that.
well, yes, I think Legend looking into the dice board by the feathered airstrike coming in, and it will be the Matilda taking down along with Garang. I mean, just look at the rotation coming in. Same goes for Julian. He's not looking in a good spot right there. And this is what I was talking about. Art will not let you take your buffs in peace, as it will be an easy free turtle for the side of Team Eliminators right there. But then the Sanguine Claws also connecting in, but Hilda isn't going down with the passive.
Indeed, and they're going at it.
And just look at the damage coming in. Along with the Black Dragon, they're all just using up everything on art, and I do not think so that it is a good thing to do because just look at the blue buff still not secured by Julian the Feather. Airstrike coming in, and this will be our Sicilian taking down once again. Legend going in for the kill onto the Matilda, but Matilda will be able to escape. I mean, what a clutch. She just barely survived, and this is the beauty of Eliminators. They do not let you rest in peace in the early game.
Definitely, you can see the Sarar Moon already stealing that purple buff away from this Julian. Ace won't be having that level advantage when it comes to those jungle section. As you can see, he's already trailing behind by so much, and I think right now there might be an engage on the bottom. Look at
The
that.
airstrike coming in, and Nella will be taken down along with the Circling Eagle. Crisis looking really low, and it will be Ace taking that kill onto Crisis. But then again, it was a trade for a trade.
Oh my
Meanwhile,
goodness.
in the top lane, I do see Legend trying to take down our Sicilian, and he's kind of surrounded by two people. Will he be able to escape? He is trying to fill up his passive bar right there, but there is no minion. And oh, he does manage to just move away with his second skill, and the ultimate kind of wasted. But then again, a great lane cut coming in, but does Lela know that Art and Bid are just waiting for her right? Yes, they will not be giving her the opportunity to farm, to get her equipments. Same goes in the top lane. Just look at the Vengeance coming in along with Matilda's guiding wind, but then it will be nothing much happening. Oh, meanwhile, just look at Julian not having the best time of his life as he's taking down once again the third death for Ace in the game.
Oh my goodness, the fight doesn't stop there. Look at the top lane again, Asuya.
I mean, it is Not looking good, Sarang. In a very bad position as Art has joined in, and it will be Legend taking that kill. Meanwhile, I think Sararmun and Bid might go in for Sonoro, but look at the zone coming in, the way they are treating the enemy jungle as their own private space, the way they have invaded. Art might go in again, the Simon Plus connecting in, but then again, Matilda forced to just move away, and the blue buff secured by Sarar Moon, not giving them the opportunity to farm up. Just look at Ace already being harassed by Art right there. They're not getting the space they need.
Definitely, the tempo is complete to the side of Team ET right now, and they're going at it. Look at that
Hmm?
Julian. I mean, oh my goodness.
I mean, Truart went in along with the feathered airstrike coming from Bid, and I think, oh, Sicilian just managing to escape in 1 HP. Legend is also right there. Julian are supposed to go back, but Legend going in for that one last hit, but it will be the bad impact, taking that life away. Kind of an overextension, but then Crisis will be taking the first tier turret from the mid lane. A very great trade when it comes to the macro. I mean, just look at the damage coming in from Crisis at this point. Sarang is going in, and Crisis will be taking that kill onto Sarang. They are unstoppable. They are not stopping those team fights. As Art is right there in the bush, and there might be the feather dive strike coming in once again, and Team Vintage just forced to move back towards their base.
Oh my goodness, but I feel like, they won't give you any rest anytime soon, as we are not really used to seeing, Team ET being so aggressive and going for a brawl style gameplay, but again, they are going at it. As you can see, Art being so aggressive onto the jungle of the side of Team Vintage. He's not giving any space of whatsoever, and that is what is happening on the map as the goal is slowly shifting. But again, look at that aggression coming in.
Well, there were some knockups. Matilda might be in a flush right there unless she uses the second skill, but the knockup coming in along with the two men. Salmon plus connecting right there, and it will be a kill secured. But then again, the trade-offs are right there. Crisis taking that kill onto Yuzhong. 3 of the members still living. Art has died. Art is still there, standing strong. It was Bid who was taken down. Meanwhile, just look at the low HP Ace. Once again, just taken down by Legend. Legend doing a legendary job. Even the macro in the hands of Team Eliminators right now.
Yes, they are controlling the tempo of the game, and so is the map control so forward. They are just going aggressive, and that is paying them dividends at this point, and they are just taking whatever resource that is there on the map. As you can see, Legend taking a lot of damage. Chunk low.
Oh, he looks very low, but he does have the vengeance right there. But the stun connecting right there along with the ultimate coming from Lala, but it will be Legend finally being taken down. Art couldn't help out, but then again, they're kind of confident right there. Just look at him between 4 people. He doesn't get Sarang receiving so much damage. The feathered airstrike coming in once again, but I think that is kind of oh, he doesn't matter because no one will be able to stop Bid. And the damage coming from the bad impact isn't enough at this point, as Crisis will be taking that kill onto Matilda. They are still going in. One more. It will be a double kill secure onto the Lala by Crisis. He might go in for the triple, but then again, they were out of range. And with that, I think the Holy Shield from the mid lane turret, the inhibitor taken down along with the second tier turret from the bot lane. And just look at that and trying to take that kill, but it will not be enough at this point because the goal lead is amazing. Too much for them to handle. And with that, look at Sararmun inside the base trying to poke people up. The feather airstrike coming in once again, and it will be Crisis taking that kill onto Ace. And just look at the damage coming onto Matilda. She isn't able to sustain. Lela trying to sustain some damage, but she will be able to escape. Another Holy Shield taken down from the bot lane. And the Sanguine Plus really connecting onto Sararmun, but then I think finally they might look for a disengage.
Oh my goodness, the fight just don't stop for the side of these two teams, as they are just keeping, in check. But again, on the top lane,
Well, yes, the Simon Glass actually connecting in right there, but it will be Ace once again taken down by Crisis. The team fight, just like you mentioned, isn't stopping at all. Look at the goal lead, 10k goal lead into the hands, and our Sicilian trying to do something, but I think they need to, just move into the safety of the turret, wait it up until they get. Wait a second, Simon Glass connecting in, but damage isn't enough. That's what I'm saying. They need to wait and stack up.
indeed. But the aggression coming, it will not stop anytime soon. As you can see, Bit just spamming that feather airstrike to lower the member down, but he's stuck in middle of a lot of people. But I think he will be able to back out. As you can see, the first lot of the game has already spawned, and Team ET might be getting this without any contest, as they have the entire map control, and the goal lead is just over 10k. It's going to 11k, and at this point, what is the point? How does Team Vintage will even come back? As you can see, the aggression won't stop anytime soon.
I mean, true, just look at Legend doing 1 versus 5 in the bot lane and not even losing up his HP. He has a lot of gold, 6,000 gold onto his hands, along with the Oracle. He's healing up quite a lot. And just look at that, Matilda trying to do something, but Legend will be taken down for that overextension. The Simon Plus connecting onto two people. Legend trying to take down Sicilian, but it will not be enough as it is kind of a throw. Just look at that. Another member down, and Legend might be next on the jumping block. Yes, he is. The feathered airstrike coming in. Sararmun manages to escape. Crisis still living, but Art and Legend for that overextension, they will be taken down. Lord coming, marching down from the mid lane. It is the Christian Lord after all. I think they will be able to defend it easily unless Vid has something else to say. And Ace will be taken down once again, and that's why I was saying Julian first pick is not a good option in this game. With that, Price is just sidestepping the Sanguine Plus. He is dealing a lot of damage with his Rondo and his Sonata, and the Feather Airstrike coming in once again, trying to zone away people, but it will be Crisis securing that kill onto Matilda. She was really low. Two men, two people just, being on the aggro, trying to zone away everyone, trying to end this game as soon as possible, but the Sanguine was connecting once again. The damage on Sarar Moon isn't enough at this point. The rest of the team also coming in back into the game, but ED might be looking to take down the last turret of the game for the side of Vintage Place.
Oh, the feather airstrike though, but again used, as you can see, that struggling to clear that waves down, but the damage going in.
Oh, Crisis. Crisis looking in the Crisis, but then again, it will be Bit taking down our Sicilian gone. You cannot, you think you have a very someone who cannot afford to lose, but just look at the winter ground gameplay coming from Art. Art will be safe for now, and the appraise is brought not dealing enough damage, but then again, we have Bit on those zoning out, and it will be an easy victory on the hands of Team Eliminators as the base's HP just melts down.
Victory!
I mean, that's just so much aggression coming in. There was hardly any time, the side of Team Vintage Play even could come for that, go for that comeback in this game. What do we even analyze? Because the entire game was a continuous domination from the side of Team ET. They just showed why they are one of the top teams in India right now. And it just speaks, the way they played was so clean. They were going in under the second tier turret, even under the base crystal, and they were just not punished even for the majority of the 1.5 minutes. They were just dealing the damage, and you saw how just Crisis and Bid, being in the midst of five people, able to just take them down without getting punished. I mean, what do we even say about this team at this point?
I mean, that's the speciality of eliminators. If you have seen them play, just like me, a lot of times, Art also goes in for the aggro, and Legend and Art, and of course, Sarar Moon make sure that they have that early game snowball so that Crisis and Bid are actually able to get a lot of gold. And then we did see the result. They had so much gold lead, so much level gap between themselves. Of course, even Legend could sustain 1 versus 5. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, um, since this is the best of three, the first game is taken by Team Eliminators. Let's just wait it out for the next game and see that will be some epic comeback from the side of Vintage Place, or will it be clean sweep for the side of Eliminators?
Yes, guys, don't go anywhere because we will be back with live action for the next matches. So, for the moment, we have to take a short break, and we'll be back soon. And with that, we are finally back for the second game of tonight between Team ET and Team Vintage Play. So, welcome back, guys, to the MLOS Mobile Legends Orisa series. So, this is season one, and as you all know, we are kicking off the pre-quarterfinals tonight. So, with me will be the none other than beautiful Asuya casting. So, say hi to the chat, Asuya.
Well, hello everyone, and yes, here we are back again with the game 2 between these two teams. And we did see in the previous game that how aggressive can eliminators be once they start to snowball. There is, rarely a chance where you can actually come back. And I think, stopping, taking something like the side of vintage really had a really, really good draft, if you ask me. But then it depends on whether they will be able to take it away towards the late game. But Eliminators did not give them that chance. They did not give them any space, any time for Lala to farm up, for Sicilian to stack up. And I think vintage players really need to keep this in mind. And with that, I think, both the teams are ready and the band section is all set. So let's just move on to the band section, Shinryu.
Definitely, they've just played for their key to victories, and that what paid off for the last game as they did not let the side of Team Vintage to scale, like you mentioned. But again, with the draft already
Sir,
rolling, we will see
what's
the
your
bans
command?
coming in, and this time around, ET will be the one banning that Fanny. So, like we know, Sarar Moon is not using that hero much. I think
Who
banning it
said
out
there
was
are
a
no
smarter choice,
shortcuts
but
in
this time
life?
around,
I
we see a
literally
different ban
invented
coming in
one.
from the side of Team Vintage as you see them banning that chip. So, no more Avengers Assemble in this game.
Well, that was a really, really great choice of words. And I think it doesn't even matter because, of course, Chip is a very, very scary hero if you ask me because he'll never know the rotations become so unpredictable when which person will be target locked, and especially when it's art, he really loves to play, you know, targeting the jungler,
Fight!
targeting the
Fight for
marksman.
the
So yeah,
ultimate
banning him
is
out is a very
banning.
good option right there because just look at that Hilda banned from the side of vintage plays, and this is what they should do.
I would say they learned the lesson from the last game, target banning that Hilda for Arc
Time to take
is a
the
smarter
field.
choice.
Your
Again,
team is banning.
you know, what you can't counter, you should be banned. So that is the smartest way to go with this draft. But again, the bans coming in from the side of Team ET would be that Hylos
Light
as well as
will
that
fall
Bruno. So,
prey
Your
to
team is
okay, I was
shadow.
going
picking.
to talk about it, but what we need to talk about was the Argus ban. So, a bit unorthodox here, isn't it, Asuya?
I mean, true, I'm sure that no one will ever, especially from the side of Team ET, they wouldn't go in for an Argus because, after all, it is a tournament. Argus works really well when it comes to rank games. But here, Legend, he might go in for a Glue, he might go in for Garut Kacha, he might go in for Khalid because Khalid hasn't been banned out in this game. And let's just see, since they do have the first pick, Crisis might once again go in for maybe a Nathan. Well, it's been some time since I've seen him play that. Then again, might go in for a Granger once again.
The
Experience the
Zushin is also
euphony
open.
of
I was
Your
going to
team
mention
is
about
suffering.
that, but
picking.
it seems like they are much more comfortable with that grandeur on Crisis. So we saw how strong that hero was in the last game, of course, because Crisis and Bit just zoned everyone out with that two heroes. I mean, we don't get to see that in every tournament happening. So, I mean, I think it's one of his comfort heroes and one of his power picks, at least in the current season. So, it'll be interesting to see how the side
Wipe
of
out all the
team,
injustice in the
Vintage
world.
will counter it out. But so far, a Chow pick is a good hero, I would say, but again, it does depend on the user, how well they can make those play happen for their side. I hope the side of Team Vintage Play can convert those pickoffs kind of gameplay for themselves in this game.
True, but then
This
again, I
time,
think
the
Xavier is
choice is
Your
not.
team
mine.
is picking.
It should not be a priority pick because Legend will just
Sun
instantly
rises when I
lock
give the
our
word.
Khalid. Just look at that. He has been locked away. They could have picked up Khalid because he is an amazing pick in this game. And with that bid, does like to play Xavier, but then again, he can pick up once again the Farsa and she can easily zone away these
My
people once
thigh is
again. But
born by
since
thy
Lucian
Your
is
wish,
open,
team is
Bid will
guided
be
picking.
going in
thy
for the
lantern
Lucian, one of his
flight.
favorite picks right there. And I have seen him play it before. I think once again the side of Team Vintage will be having a hard time unless this Joe makes some, he's a hero who can actually make the game or break the game with his pickoffs because I do not see Bid on the Purifier.
Yes, so far the draft look really strong from the side of Team ET. They have got their power picks. As we know, how strong Crisis was on the on that hero last game, and bid with that Zushin is really strong. Like you mentioned, he that is one of his comfort picks, which comes after that Vexana and Valentine, I would say. That is the top three heroes that he really likes to use in most of his tournaments. So again, that is a very
To
strong
me,
mid
your
control coming
team is
in,
all that
but
matters.
legend with that hero. Something really underrated, but really strong in this game. I would say would be that pick off type of gameplay. The flanks coming in from this Khalid would be really something. The side of team Vintage might struggle with again the Van Van getting locked in pretty early. I don't know how would a Van Van do against a Granger because considering the Granger has so much range and so much less cooldown, this Van Van
Still
might get
waters
bursted down.
run
But
deep.
again,
Your team
in that
is
late game, the
banning.
Van Van will be really, hard to counter with that mobility that she offers is really, really strong. Right now, we are moving to that banning section, second banning section, and Ling would be the first hero getting banned here.
Well, true, you do not want Sarar Moon on the
For
link, especially when
honor!
it is Xavier, because
Your team
this
is
hero actually
banning.
lacks some mobility and he can be easily picked off by any kind of assassin. But then in the last game, we did see Sarar Moon on the Fredrin, and he did an amazing job being the forefront, being the tank right there. And with that, it
Muscle of
is a
Iron
tank
Your
which
team
has
owns
been
a
is
banned away. It
banning.
skill.
is a Tigreal. Um, a great choice. But then again, I don't think so that it will be Team Vintage going in for a Tigreal since they already have a Cho, and I prefer Cho being on the roam, especially because he can be for those pickups, especially onto Crisis and Bid.
Definitely, but it can also work for that EXP, and considering Chow does have that knockup to cancel that heal coming in from
True
this Khalid,
love is like
that
your
can be
team is
something that
picking.
Quicksand Rock can get cancelled from that Chow. But it's not one of the best pick because you can just pick one hero off with that hero. So I think they might want to go for a set maker type of hero in this game for at least for that EXP lane. They need somebody who can engage, who can start those team fights. So that initiator is really important from the side of Team Vintage at this point. And I think a Terizla would work in this game, but again, the Xbox is still open, and so is that CC, so they can flex that Khalid into a rooms and they can just switch things up in this game, like because they have a lot of choice with their draft.
Matilda is not banned out, so Art might go in for Matilda, who knows. But then again, I think if Fove is paired up against our Khalid can be a really
This
amazing
land is our
option because
homeland, and
Your
Crisis will
team
be
consider your
having a lot
burial
of
ground.
dashes that will trigger up his passive quite a lot. And of course, when the second skill is used up from our Khalid, he can just knock him up. But then again, Sonoro going in for a rather peculiar option right there, the Lapu Lapu. Let's just see how his Flicker ultimates or his Flicker
That'll have
stance
to smack a
connect,
good
because
batter in the
that's
morning.
all you need from him. Because just look at that, Art might go in for a Franco. Oh
I
well, I
am
think I
more
don't know.
Vintage,
than
your
They
team
might be
is
going in for the
banning.
arrived.
Franco because they want the bloody hunt onto One One, and because One One can be a menace into the game, and Franco is a direct counter with the suppression.
Indeed, Franco was really a very good choice coming in from the side of ET because they need to have those lock skill and they can also punish that Chow with the bloody hunt, and so can that Lapu Lapu be punished because the Lapu Lapu also has an immunity when he uses that bravest fighter in the like the ulti slashes can get cancel out when that Franco uses his suppression. So a very good choice in this game, I would say. They are playing with their draft. They are, covering the bases. You can see that's a rare moon. Will be using that Julian, so that is that early game secured for their side. That mid to late game power spike is already there for their draft. That Grandeur really works well for
Sanjo!
that late game, but to answer back from the side of Team Vintage would be that Hayabusa. And we already know that Zushin really struggles against assassins. And a pick like Hayabusa is really, really good, I would say. The draft is looking really well for both these teams so far.
Well, true. Once again, I'm really loving both the drafts, especially coming from the side of Team Vintage. And I think Art he really needs to decide which person he will be using the Bloody Hand on. Will it be the One or will it be our ace on the Hayabusa? Because both of these assassins, sorry, and the Julian, they need the early game snowball for themselves, especially when it comes to Hayabusa. If he's able to get that snowball, he will be unstoppable. But if he's denied, he will kind of lack it out, especially because he will be targeting Bid, he will be targeting Crisis. They really need to be careful, protect their damage dealers.
Yes, one thing we are really used to seeing Art doing is pressuring that jungle section, so that will
Welcome
be
to
really interesting to
Mobile
see
Legends!
how does he do that with the Franco, because we know how
5
disruptive a
seconds till the
Franco
enemy
can be
reaches the
to any
battlefield.
opponent team with his
Smash
hooks,
them!
with his presence alone. So with
Ultras
that, guys, we
deployed!
are finally in the land of Dawn for the second match, probably a match point for the side of team. I'm sorry, this is a match point for the side of Team ET. So let's see if the side of Team Vintage can pull a comeback. But yes, we do have this ET on the blue side and Team Vintage play on the red side. So you can see both the teams are, going for the buffs right now here, Asuya.
True, but I do see one kind of stuck onto her base. Maybe she's facing some connection issues, so maybe we might see a restart for the game. Because right now, Legend already being Menace right there trying to poke Ace, not letting him just take that red buff once again. Like this Legend being legendary, but I think he will be the one giving away the first blood unless he has something else to say. But just look at the flicker coming in. He wasn't able to take that kill because Art wasn't there for the support. But look at that bit, and Sararmoon to the rescue. The red buff has been taken away. Joe getting that knockups right there. Sararmoon might go in for the kill because he is level 3 after all. But Lapu Lapu will be going away. And finally, I do see 1-1 moving it out. But she has lost a lot of gold. Let's just see what happens because Art is right there. Maybe hooking
Indeed.
someone.
Okay, we have to see if the hook connects or not, because they are, setting an ambush. As you can see, three members already there, and here comes Legend. He's trying to clear the waves out, and Art has revealed himself. But I don't think so. He will go for the play yet. He tried to hook, but it did not connect. The iron hook does miss. But again, Crisis, we need to talk about him. He got a lot of gold from that bot lane, so I think he might come online sooner than we expect him to. But with that, look at the bot mid lane.
And I do see our mate in a very bad position, but yes, as I said before, it might be a restart because 1-1 was facing some issues. And just look at Crisis already with 1600 gold within 1 minute of the game. So, yeah, I think with this. But then again, I would like to ask you, Shinryu, I didn't ask you, which draft do you like much more?
I know, like personally, I like the draft of Team Vintage because they really have a good front to back composition. They can go for both the engage as well as the disengage type of gameplay. But you know, it's just it might be a bias comment, but the gameplay coming in from the side of Team ET is just a bit better. They know when to engage and when to go for those play. How to pressure in the map, which I think the side of Team Vintage plays lacking a bit due to the experience that they are not having from the prior tournaments, perhaps because we have seen Team ET participating in so many tournaments. They have been in some of the best tournaments in India. So considering that they are the underdogs the side of Team Vintage, but again we cannot count them out. They have every chance to win this game, and that give that upset that we are not really used to seeing from a underdog team for in most of the majority of these tournaments.
Well, true, I agree with you, and especially, just like the previous game, if they're able to extend the clock towards the late game, that Xavier might even start one hitting people. That's how much damage a Xavier can do solo. But then again, they really need to, let them have that space, let them have that farm, which they really need for giving out that damage. And we did see in the last game, ET denied, because even Sicilian and Lala, both of them need the same, but they were denied. And once again, you know, like Legend did go in for that kill, and he was actually able to successfully take that kill onto the Hayabusa with the flicker gameplay coming in, but it wasn't enough. He really needed some backup. The backup did come, but was pretty late. So for right now, I think the side of Team Vint is having a better front when it comes to the kills. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are back into the game. The pause has been removed, and I think the issues have been settled.
Indeed, as you can see, the turtle is already being walked up by the side of Team ET, and there will be a free turtle going. As you can see, two members, just being a menace in the jungle of Team Vintage as they're continuously pressuring that blue buff of that Hayabusa.
Always Sarang flickered away, forced to use it up, and then again Ace will be taken down once again. Bloody Hunt coming in on to Sonoro, but Sonoro isn't going down, and it will be Art who will be traded off right there. Sararmoon looking really low, and Crisis coming into the play right there, but Bid very low. It will be a double kill secured by a Lapu Lapu right there, and Sararmoon actually missing up his skills right there. Legend and Crisis taking that kill onto the Joe, and Sonoro might next be on the chopping block as Crisis is right there. His just one. Oh, Okay, he was taken down by our legend instead.
Oh my goodness, the fight is so back and forth. Both the teams are going at it, but you know what just happened? The side of Team Vintage just lost a turret under 3 minutes, and that is not a good look, because that is a lot of map pressure building onto this Van Man because you know how much item reliant that hero is. So once again, that Hayabusa, okay, that Chow being in the list of so many members will get traded, but I think the aggression didn't stop there.
Yes, sir. Wait a second. A lot of skills missing out by Lapu Lapu, but it just used his flicker to move away. And yes, the Blanca flare coming in, but he's still surviving, but will be taken down in midst of four people. Same goes for Ace. Stun coming in from the side of our Xavier, but it will not be enough. It's still trying to zone people away. Ace looking for that, waiting for his blue buff right there. He is pretty much far behind, but Pit looking really low along with Legend. On one actually dealing out a lot of damage, even though she was behind with that pause. And in the top lane, Art is trying to pressure Sarang. Crisis is taking off, soaking that cold from the turret.
Yes, you can see at this point he's double laning. He's trying to get those gold plates off from both the lanes. So I think that would give him a lot of lead when it comes to the gold, that gold department. Once again, Crisis is already sitting with the two items. As you can see, he's just gotten that, Sky Piercer. So anytime any person is low, Crisis will just try to use that, you know, ult his to
Mm,
secure the skills. But again, look at the bot
I
lane.
think yes, I think Legend was able to take down, but then he will be traded off as Joe is in for the rescue, but 1-1 not having the best time of her life right now as Sararmo does able to take the second neutral objective, the second turtle into the game, and the flicker being forced from the side of Xavier right there, and Art might look for a hook. Okay, it did not connect. A lot of Natalia's being hooked in this game. And with that, they are onto the red buff right there with the bloody hand coming in, and Ace will be taking down the Tucano along with the Way of the Dragon. Not actually connecting to anyone, but then again, our Lapu Lapu is there for taking that kill onto Sararmo. What is that overextension? And it will be 1-1 taking that kill onto Art Legend coming in solo. The Way of the Dragon connecting onto him, and he will be the next on the chopping block. And it is a double kill for 1-1. Like, what are they doing at this point? Crisis, the only one remaining.
The punish is just too much from the side of Team Vintage at this point. They are slowly coming back in this game. As you can see, they are not hesitant to take these fights anymore. They are going in, committing fully for these fights. As you can see, another 1v1 going on the top lane, but I think both the members will disengage without going for anything more unless Art decides otherwise.
Well, nothing much be happening, but then again, they finally swapped back the lanes because I do see a marksman versus marksman, but 1-1 looking in a very tight spot. Joe is there for the rescue. He's getting a lot of damage. Will the dragon not connect because the bloody hunt will be forced up onto him, and Bait will be taking that kill onto Sarang. Meanwhile, Xavier also coming in for the rescue. Bit trying to take that kill and will be successfully taking away 1-1's life for his name. Meanwhile, just look at Legend once again doing that when versus solo versus everything. But then again, it will be Xavier also taken down between four members. Legend doing a very great job trying to hold it out. They might go in, forcing the mid lane turret right there as Legend trying to go in along with Art. And look at the damage coming in, and it will be a mega kill secured by Crescent right there. Art again trying to hook nothing, but then again just look at the damage. The first tier turret from the mid lane taken away. The rotations will be very bad, and I think this is the snowball which ET needs from this point onwards. They might not be able to get a comeback. Team Vintage really needs to hold it up because Hayabusa looking really low. He will be able to escape with the shadows though. And maybe Xavier is next on the chopping block as Legend is going in. And he will be forced to use up that flicker, but the second turret might also be taken down. Just look at the Lantern Flare coming from our bit, trying to take on Sarang. But look at the damage coming in along with the Bloody Hunt and the Raging Sunstorm. And it will be a killing spree, but 1-1 activated. A crossbow, Art flickered away. Sarang Moon looking in the tight spot right there as he is between two people. He will be taken down. Spear double is secured right there, but then again, the same goes in for Crisis as he will be trading it off. He's looking really low unless the Crisis has something else to say, and it will be a flicker along with the skill taking that third kill onto his name.
At this point, Team ET are just being too aggressive and they're not even getting punished anymore like in the last game. But look at the mid lane.
Oh, the Way of the Dragon connecting in on Art might go down, and Legend trying to do some CC right there onto Sarang. And wait a second, Lapu Lapu trying to just dish out some damage onto Crisis, but then it will be Bit securing that kill, and then Mobilize coming in from the side of Xavier, but at the same time they are again forced back into that inhibitor, into their base.
Indeed, the itemization coming from the Fushin was really interesting as she got the first item Sky Piercer. So you know, Fade was so confident that they will get the skills, so he just went for the Sky Piercer first. As you can see again on the mid lane, Legend.
Okay, Legend going in, but then again, he will be there easy because the follow-ups are right there, but the ultimate coming from our Xavier has also been there. Not much will be happening. Art might go in for some hook.
Indeed, the fight does not stop anytime we want it to be because both the sides are still going at it. As you can see, the next pressure point would be that mid lane. So far, they haven't taken the lot yet because it is yet to spawn. But with the pressure they have, they can look for an end. But again,
Yes, it was the hook connecting finally, but then again, just look at the way of the dragon connecting in and the bloody hunt stopping, rescuing the teammates. Meanwhile, I think Ace is in a very tight spot between four people. It will be legendary secured by Crisis right there, and with that, the assault is not stopping as they might be looking to take down the mid lane inhibitor once again. Legend looking very low, and yes, he will be taking out for that overextension, but then again, just look at the damage coming from our Crisis, taking down 1-1 once again, and it will be a double skill secured onto Sonoro right there. But what is that? Xavier will be punishing him for that overextension with the combo and the ultimate. And I think Joe trying to dish out some play right there, but then he will be just moving away. Ace coming in once again. I feel bad for him because he doesn't have any of his buff. He doesn't have the farm, and Hayabusa really needs the snowball, which he wasn't able to get. And the concealed gameplay coming in, the hook actually not connecting onto anyone.
indeed, as you can see, the aggression is just so much from the side of Team ET. They are getting every resources on the map, stripping the side of Team Vintage from any kind of possible comeback. As you can see, they are trying their best to get the skills, but the Hayabusa is too hesitant. But here comes Legend.
Wait a minute, the wave dragon connecting onto Saramon. Saramon will be taken away, and with that, just look at Art forced to use the flicker, but the bloody hand connecting onto 1-1, but no one is there to finish it up unless Legend has something else to say, and yes, it will be taking down, but then again, Crisis, just look at him taking those backlanes who were after his life. Lapu Lapu, the sole one remaining, I do not think so that he will be able to survive as it will be a triple kill secured right there. Hayabusa has nothing to say, he will just be recalling as the mid lane inhibitor will also fall under that assault.
Yes, it seems like the side of Team ET will be able to crack open that base as the Hayabusa is taking a ton of damage. Might get taken down and Ace falls.
Okay, the damage from Crisis is unstoppable. It's hurting quite a lot as Hayabusa was just dashing and he was taken away in the mid of his what I call a dashing.
He was just not able to go back on his shadow. The damage is just so much. Crisis is having all the farm he wanted on the map, and right now he's just playing Vivid. As you can see, the side of Team Vintage.
Okay, right there it will be a overextension as 1-1 will be taken down once again. They really need to play it safe onto the base, especially the marksman. And I think so might go in for the way of the dragon, but then the hook coming in and the bloody hand will be taken down by Crisis once again. A misplay wise. And then just look at the damage coming from Crisis. He might be getting that double kill right to his name. Lapu Lapu next on the chopping block. Will it be a triple kill secured by Crisis? He might go in for the maniac if the team goes in for it. Just look at Legend doing an amazing job, trying to zone people away, trying to take the forefront of the damage. But then again, it is the base which has been locked down, and it will be a clean sweep from side of Team Eliminators as they are not able to hold it back.
Oh my goodness, the aggression was just felt, even throughout the entire game as well as out of our screens. Like we were feeling high for that game, and Team ET just showed pure dominance. And it was just so much. Even the side of Team Vintage, they were trying for that outplays, those reverse plays. But once there were times when they got those reverse plays, but the side of Team ET just, instantly heavily punished them. It just felt so one-sided from the side of Team ET as they just stripped every resource, every goal lead, that they could possibly do. And at this point, Team ET might just, be the tournament's favorite to win. As you can see, the aggression is just at a different level. So, with that, they will move to the next round once again. Congratulations to them. Hard fought game for the side of Team Vintage, but yes, there has to be a winner and as a loser. But tonight, Team ET are going to the next round with style. So, Asiya, what are your thoughts about that game? I'm still feeling hyped.
Well, I think the snowball kind of started when 1-1 did have some issue. I do not know, the game wasn't started or something. But then again, the snowball one starts, ET just goes on with those kills, especially Crisis taking those kills left and right. And even Bid was so confident, he took up a Sky Piercer with Zushin, taking those kills left and right. And I think, the Joe did an amazing job trying to pick people off, but then towards the late game, those initiations weren't good because your team doesn't have enough gold, you do not have enough kills. You should be defending instead of going for the offense, especially between four people. And yes, I think Lapu Lapu was doing an amazing job. But then again, if you see the side of Team Vintage, they were kind of split apart. Hayabusa didn't get the buffs just like the previous game. He wasn't able to farm. I mean, just look at him. He hardly has any gold, like even less than the Rome. So
Hmm.
yeah, this is
The
yep.
the best thing about ET is like they're so good at forcing those fights out, even under the second tier turret, even under the base turrets, So it's just like the side of team vintage play, they did not get that space or that room, where they could just go and freely farm because everything was taken from them. This was just like, we are not giving you anything and you'll be just, forced to stay under the turrets and even get taken down when you do that.
And that's the signature gameplay from them. Especially Art really needs to likes to force those team fights, and of course, Legend does a legendary job always, trying to bait out everything, being the punching bag of the team. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, since the game has finished, we will be going in for a short break, but do not go anywhere because the next match is one of the best teams of India once again, and it is going to be a banger. So we will be signing out for now. Do stay tuned.
And hello and welcome back to our lovely viewers. We are finally kicking the last game of tonight of between team Zohunt on the red side and team Move on the blue side. And for this round, I will be your caster Shin Ryu, and along with me joining in all the way from the northeast would be none other than Devi. Say hello to the chat.
Hello guys, I am a newbie still here, but I can't wait to see this best of three. And this is Johan that I am looking forward to, and as well as Team Move On. Well, let's go right into the drafting phase.
Indeed, the things are already kicking off. As you can see, both the teams will be banning the heroes soon with the clock running down. They really need to,
I am not the
go for
only
the
one
ban
Your
bound
here.
by
team
these
is
As
banning.
here
chains.
comes the ban. So the first ban
They
would be that Phobius. So what are your thoughts on that ban?
Well, as far as the patterns that I've seen, it's mostly the Fanny being banned out when you see teams on the blue side
Sir,
because they
what's your
do not want
command?
to
Your
take the Fanny
team
for
is
themselves, but
banning.
it is actually Team Move On that's banning out the Fanny. But the forwards ban coming out from Johan, I think it is a hero that they don't want to go against. Maybe they do want to go for heroes that's kind of a dashy kind with so much blink potential and dependent on the blinks. Maybe that is the reason they take out the forwards this early on.
Indeed, it also opens up a lot of heroes which can, play with a lot of more space because that Phobius is just gonna constantly, basketball dunk on you if you just let him freely hit you. So I think that's a good ban coming in because most of the teams do not like to deal with a hero that can, give so
My
much
mission
shield as
is to
well as
protect
Your team
a
lives.
lot
is
of,
banning.
frontline presence. So banning it out is a very good choice. As you can see, the second ban from their side would be that high loss, another peel and high mobility, not high mobility, but that hero which can engage the team fights getting banned. So I think they are narrowing down that EX pool much more
Time to
than the
take the
other heroes.
field.
Your team is
So
banning.
here
Yeah.
comes the Bruno ban from the side of Team Zohunt.
Nothing too uncommon. But we have seen that Bruno has been so amazing onto the lane, right? With so much mobility as it have and the choice for better spells as well. And it is kind
Time
of
to
a
drop the beat
very
of the
Your
good
team
flash.
is
laning
banning.
marksman, if I would say, because he performs well on most of the heroes into the goal lane. But taking that out as well, I think it is because they do not want to give the
Butterflies
Bruno out
born by thy
Your
rather
team
wish,
than
is picking.
to
guided
take
by
attention for
lantern's
themselves
light.
trying to counter it. Well, the Zeusine is also taken out as well as the Joy. So the Joy is kind of a target ban, I would say, but maybe Team Move On might try to go for um the Suyo possibly because the Suyo is the Joy is actually so good against the Suyo. So taking out the Joy might be a possible opening for the Suyo. Well, they can go for any different route, but that's just what I'm thinking. Maybe, just maybe.
That
Muscle
would be
of
the
iron,
case, but it
Your team
seems
bones of
is
like the
picking.
side
steel.
of Team Move On will take that
I am the
initial rush
priestess
because
of primal
the starting
lightning,
of that
the
EX being
hunter
really
of all
strong,
the
but
evil
again, it could be a
gods.
really flex pick from the side of Team. And here
Your
Wipe out
comes
all
team
the
is
the
injustice
picking.
in the world.
quick picks from the side of Team Zone. They will get that edit as well as the show. So both very flexible heroes, can be used in any position. I think the draft is still, so feisty coming in from both the sides. They are not revealing their cards yet. They are playing with that heroes really well. They want to, see what the other teams are, plotting here before they want to show
Still
more of
waters
their
run
draft.
deep.
But it seems like the side of Team Move On will lock that laying down. So I think that is a good hero to have. But again, with the Hilda being opened, we can see a counter, but they have already got
Time
two
and
tanky
tide
heroes
wait for
willing to
Your
go
no
for the
team
man,
Hilda
is
pick.
picking.
nor girl.
Well, the Cho picking the Hilda now, it
Experience the
just
youth
Your
in your
give
team
a
is
way
suffering.
banning.
for the side team move on to be more of a more decisive on what kind of spell they choose. But the Beatrix being picked
Only
out, I think
love
the
and
Cho
night
and
Your
Tina
team
are
Yang
is
on the Cho
banning.
everlasting.
is gonna have a good time trying to pick on the marksman. But the Link is also being picked out so very early on and onto the Cho. So maybe this is kind of a comfort pick for Team Move On, or maybe it is just they are just trying to counter and get onto the throw as well. But the grandeur is also being taken away by Prime. I thought that maybe
The
Prime could go
Immortal
on
One
for more of
chose
a
me to
damage
Your
kind
vanquish
of
the
team
hero
is
that
shadows
can
that
banning.
potentially
plague
put on the
this
turret
world.
as well. But the grandeur so popular onto the goal lane when you go against the Bruno.
For
But this being
honor!
picked out
Your
against the
team is
Blitz,
banning.
I want to see how these fare in the lane.
Indeed, the Grandeur is one of those heroes which, despite that item, that is Malefic Gun, being so strong, cannot equip it because he does not benefit from the range so much because he's not too much reliant on those basic attacks. He's rather reliant on his damage. So you might want to go for a more burst type of build on a Grandeur rather than a attack speed build. So I feel like the Beatrix can benefit from that longer range. Kind of able to free hit the backline at certain points. So I think it is a pretty good matchup coming in from both the side. They have that range for their heroes. Grandeur without the Malefic gun can really hit hard with his Death Sonata. So it is pretty
Hayabusa!
comes down how the skills are
Sanjo!
used, the
Your
timing of
team
the
is
skills. But
picking.
again, with the bans already, locked in, you can see three assassin heroes getting banned in this game. So no more assassins for Dusty Mizo if you wanted to go for that. But again, a lot of heroes are still open. The side of Team Zohan, they still need a good mage for their side, and so does the side of Team
I
move
am
on, but
more
they are
than a
Your
lacking that
team
weapon.
is
early
picking.
Julian. We are seeing the sudden rise of Julian in the meta. We are not really
Yeah.
used to seeing it so often, but again, I think that's a really good hero to cover that early game so far.
Yeah, they are just gonna go for the early game onto the Julian pick. You know what I've seen, but this Julian has been doing amazing against assassins, especially the Link from what I've seen. But looking at the banning, I would like to talk about the ban for coming up from Team Move On. They took out the Suyo, not taking it from themselves when they banned the Joy and taking the Link into their own hands. So this comes to a reply from the side of Team Johan directly locking on to the Julian on Dusty Mizo's side.
I love the
So I want to
smell
see
of
how they
gunpowder in the
try to
morning!
counter this Julian
As
banning.
fleeting as a snowflake's
Your team
breath,
is
Indeed,
picking.
they
as
have locked
timeless as a
up
glacier's
and that
heart.
can be the answer to
The
that hero. But
southern
look at
seas
that
are
quick
my
Kadita pick coming in.
domain.
Even before I could talk about the specs for the side of Team Move On, the Kadita got locked in. So there is that canceling for that bloody hunt which might have come through. But again, I think they have enough skills to cancel that bloody hunt with a show with a edit. There is a lot of lock heroes as well as a lot of knockup coming in from the side of Team Zohan. I think the draft is pretty well round for both these teams. They have that AoE skills as well as a lot of damage that can scale to that mid to late game. But it all comes down to that execution. After the left are locked in,
Mhm.
the execution is the major portion where some of these teams come short when we have seen them going against really strong teams like the Zohunt and some other teams which are very renowned all over India. But again, we cannot count out these underdogs. They can put the upset in these big tournaments. But looking at the draft, which draft do you want to go for in this game?
Just because of the cherry pick from the side of Team Johan, I would like to see how these fare out. It's not predictable at this point who will come out on top. It all come down into execution and to the macros and the micros
Welcome to
decisions made
Mobile
by both of the
Legends!
teams.
Indeed,
5
and with
seconds till the
that, we
enemy
are
reaches the
finally into the land of
battlefield.
dawn for
Smash
this
them!
best of three series between Team
All
Zohan
troops
on
deployed!
the red side and the side of Team Move On will take that blue side. So it is the best of three series, guys. Now played. Let's see how will this team pan out. But again, on the mid lane, we have the side of that show trying to zone that side because disabling him for any potential win. But so far, the map is still peaceful, I would say here, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of peaceful at this point at the start of the game. They do not want to go for the trade speeds early on, but when you are on the Zealand, that level 3 is where you try to go for kills, where you try to go for to make plays and just move around the map, trying to look for potential pick goals. And there is also the Aurora with Pride of Ice still being intact, and as well as the Purify on her. I think he will be very careful on how he position himself. The Mrs. Prime ticking quite low.
Yeah, they were looking for a potential engage, but it seems like both the sides are playing it safe. They did not want to take any unnecessary fights before the members can get that level 4. But again, on the top lane, you can see Dusty Mizzo is sitting on that bush, trying to look for an engage onto that Beatrix. Uncle really needs to be careful. One mistake and he can get just shut down early on. But look at the bot lane, though, a lot of pressure coming in onto Win. He's not being able to get most of that lane, but coming back to the top lane, 3 members already from the side of Team Zohan camping there.
Athena is just in position. If he had the way of the dragon right there, I think that would be a perfect timing for them to commit. But the turtle's gonna be spawning in less than 5 seconds, and teams are gonna be in position to try to go into it and try to secure this first turtle as early as possible to get the snowball potential going on onto the bot side. There's a fight.
Oh yeah, you can see the the onward connecting onto the mage. But again, here comes Kadita with the rough waves. Will get the kill onto that fighter. But again, here comes a bloody hunt from that Franco locking the win down. So again, a good comeback from the side of team, move on. But here comes the way of the dragon onto that Franco. He really needs to be careful. He gets taken down. Kiboom caught in the midst of it all. But here comes Ling, not able to steal a turtle. But again, a good retribution coming from Dusty Miso, and that Ling cable will be getting shut down, caught in the midst of 3. He could not sustain all that damage early on. This Ling really needs to be careful before he goes in again, because he really is reliant on that early game.
Initially, I thought that Athena committing the way of the dragon onto the Franco Blade of Kibo might have been a bad choice for them, but he's just so squishy onto the early stages of this game, and they are able to take him down very easily. Oh, Wizard of Ice.
Oh, the mid lane. Look at the knock-up coming in from the Julian. Dustin is trying to chase that Aurora down, but shoot to kill will be surviving with a sliver of HP. But Franco on the chase uses a bloody onto that Dusty Mizo, but there is nobody to translate that kill. Again on the top lane, there are members, but they are still not committing to that thing, to that engage yet. As you can see, the goal lead is slowly shifting to the side of Team Zohan. They are having a better early game so far, able to control the map. But here comes Shao. He wants to go in. It seems like he wants to go for the Chikundo knock-up. But you can see Prime doing a lot of damage. I think again on the mid lane, look at that. We just move our eyes, and there goes Shoot to Kill getting taken down by the rough bit. But here comes the enhanced chain from the Julian, and Franco will be taken down instantly, being the squishy tank he is, not be able to sustain all that damage.
Johan, they know fully well, they had the info that Shoot to Kill doesn't have the Pride of Ice, as well as Blade of Kibo has already committed on the Bloody Hunt. But onto the top side,
oh, the way of the dragon does connect, and Uncle will be brought back just to get taken down. A good pick off coming in already, but okay, Blade of Kibo trying to find some redemption again on the top lane, but look at the bot lane. There is another fight going on, and 2 members will get taken down. 2 kills going in the hands of Win, already coming online so early in the game. But again on the top lane, there is so much movement coming in. Look at the position of Kadita. They might go for a pick off, and he goes on to Uncle, just spawn and get taken down, shutting that goal really early in the match. And the stun will connect, the Frigid Glacier does connect, and they will want to go back, but the turtle will go to the side of Team Zohan.
so far that I've seen, there has been trade all over the map, and it is all in the profit for Johan all of the time. And when they have the info about the Bloody Hunt as well as the Pride of Ice, they go in, try to make their plays, and they successfully get the kills. And onto the Julian.
Oh my goodness, here comes Ling with the rotation, but he's just a bit late. You can see the Primal Wrath already used and won't have it, but Ling with the Tempest of Blade does not get the damage. Here comes Dusty Mizo doing that enhanced, basic attack, but it won't get the enough HP down for that Ling to him go for that, potential kill. But again, the pressure is just so intense. And Debbie, look at the top lane. Beatrix
There's
just
what's going on? Okay, Beatrix is gonna be safe for now, but it is really such a manage, right? That they don't have the boost advantage at this one, and Faden can just dive in. There's a miss there. Well,
my
they're gonna be safe for
goodness.
now. That's kind of a misplay coming out from Faden using the petrify very very early on. He's gonna be caught into the midst of this oil, but he does have the rough waves, right? So he might be able to survive this. But the airborne onto the rough waves will be used defensively. But there we go. He successfully dived away from there.
Oh, but wait a minute, the concealed coming out of the drop lane, you can see Uncle
Oh.
caught in the midst of it all will again fall, and this is not a really good early game coming from him. He's just being, the center of target for the side of Team Zohan. They are not they are just disabling the marksman really early on, giving them that early edge that they needed in this game. But again on the mid lane, the Earthward and that Shatter will connect, but that EXP laner Gatot Kacha will use that defensive AOG, but the blue buff won't be getting saved. But I think they will go for disengage, or yeah, I think they will go for disengage and get there until the prime but descend. Otherwise, he go for the bloody hunt. The episode blade does connect, and Chow will get taken down, but the rough waves will take the members down, but the kills will go to the hand of Prime. And here comes the aggressive Primal Wrath, and another member going taken down, and that was almost a wipeout coming in for the side of Team. Move on as they are on the back foot once again.
What a good set of events coming out for Johan, right? Whenever they try to go for the engage, there's always a pick-off that they successfully do. They do not waste any of their resources, they just use it to their advantage, and time again, they get to pick off on Uncle, and that is what a win condition for them is, right? They do have the early lead, and they are just trying to capitalize on that.
Indeed, the map pressure as well as the lane pressure is just too intense in this game, as the side of Team Move On are not able to match the aggression. As you can see, the Chow going in even under the second tier, under the base turret, and he will get the bloody hunt. A lot of resources onto him to get taken down. I mean, I'm not sure if that was the best decision for their side, but they are happy to get any kill that they can. But again, on the top lane, there's a 1v1 going on, but I think the Ling will not want to take that fight. But look at Faden there.
Oh, he's trying to move onto them, but yeah, he's gonna be saved. He do have that passive going strong on for him, but Johan, they are looking for a fast pace of this game. They do want to end this game very early on. They waited for the Lord, they completely ignoring the turtle and just going for the Lord, taking it down, and I think they are just gonna merge in towards the enemy base looking for kills again, because they do have the kit to get down to take down any of the members of the side team move on if they want to. But there's a flicker.
Ooh, the way of the dragon connecting, but he will use that flicker to get out. The Beatrix really surviving that. The AOG will not connect onto anybody, just missing. He wants to get that, taunt he was looking for, but here comes Dusty Mizzle with the damage, but he will get that, suppress kill onto him. But here comes Beatrix, the damage and a double kill going in the hands of that fighter. Yo, my goodness, the damage was just enough to take the members down as they got punished early on. As you can see, the Lord is marching on the mid lane, and again the stun connecting, but the knocker being there, and the Frigication used defensively, and Win will be taken down. Also, the Gatot Kacha will fall. Here comes the Tempest of Blade, but Chow with the Savior for that grandeur will save him from the onslaught that was about to, fall onto him. But I think with that, both the team will go for a reset. Can't find anything more on the map.
What a good read from Athena Young. He knows that the Ling, we will especially go for Prime on his grantor, and he does have the flicker, and he have to commit the way of the dragon to save his teammate from that potential shutdown kill coming out from Cable. But Faden trying to look for a kill here, but he does have the petrify as well as the rough wave. Whenever he commit on to anyone, I think it's potentially a kill for him. Well, Blade of Kibeo trying to do the Iron Hook, but won't be connecting on to anyone. These are where the lanes are getting soft in. They are not. Oh, there's Nemesis Prime taking out Cable so easily. Well, the Link is not having a really good time in this game.
Definitely, with that massive goal lead, things are looking pretty slim for the side of Team Move On. But look at the damage being placed onto Blade of Kibo. He's the tank, and he's taking so much damage, but just a single kill of Dusty Mizo. It just speaks, how behind the side of Team Move On. There goes Faden inside, just trying to poke, but again on the bot lane, the knockup does connect, and Blade of Kibo will be brought back and will get taken down as the members are trying to find another kill. Here comes Oh my goodness, he will get CC though. Chout wanted to go for a pick-off, but not really able to do so. Here comes the AOG, will be missing as members just sidestep it, and he will be caught in the midst of it all. Two members already falling. Shoot to kill all by himself, trying to defend that. The waves are marching down from all the lanes except for the top. And again, you can see the side of Team Zohan will be able to crack open the base as they take that middle inhibitor down. And they are eyeing for the bottle inhibitor as the Franco is again back on the map. He will not get that iron hook. He uses a flicker, thinking he marked somebody, but it will be too late for him to go back as the side of Team Zohan starts the game with a banger, taking the game for their side and starting to lead this best of three series with a score of 1-0.
What a pure domination coming out from Team Johan. So far as I've seen, Shoot to Kill has been managing that Physic Glacier as defense, right? He's always using that ultimate to be on the defensive position because Draftways has been always committed on to him, and the Bloody Hunt might not be able to connecting on to anyone because of the hook not landing at such a good phase. But this team is also does have a really good opening given by Athena as well as Faden. They have been giving him space most of the time, and he have been able to deal a lot of damage and capitalize on the goal lead that he have. And Nemesis, he was so amazing on the grandeur, never missing the Death Sonata and the position that he is in. He's never in jeopardy to be picked off. What a good gameplay coming out from Johan.
Indeed, like they were able to translate most of their goal lead into those, profitable trade that they had. Sometimes they were losing the members, but it was just mostly the tanky frontliner. And I feel like they're
Mhm.
more than happy to, get those kills onto their damage dealer because it just paid off. As you can see, Prime Nemesis or Nemesis Prime, whichever works for us, dealing 32% damage. That is not, less considering we just had an 11 minutes game. So there's a lot of damage to begin with. And something I want to talk about is the build of Franco. You do not want to see that kind of build on a Franco when you're on the losing side. You want him to be the frontliner you need in this game because, yeah, he was going for that iron hook as
Mhm.
well as the bloody hunt, but it was not really paying the dividend because the side of team Zohan were so fast to, react to that and they were just canceling it out most of the time. And I did not see, a game-changing bloody hunt coming in this game because the Zohan were so reactive to this plays. I think we have to give the props to Zohan for that. It was like not that Franco was not doing much, but it was Zohan, being able to read those plays coming in from the side of team. Move on as
Mhm.
you can see the Ling is just sitting with a score of 0-6 and 4. You do not want to see that on a Ling because he is the main carry for your team, at least for the first half when the marksmen need that space to play with. So I think, with a little bit switch of draft, they can, have a
Mhm.
better game because they need to find some early game heroes which can work because the Franco was there, but it was too squishy. But again, moving to the second game, we have to see what difference, what did they learn for the side of team move on to which they can implement for this game.
Maybe they can possibly go for the later part of the jungle pick, or maybe a better jungle other than the link. And if they do want to take the link, maybe they want to see
Butterflies
that
born
what
by
Johan was
vibration,
drafting first and go
guided
for it.
by
Because
lantern's
the link,
light.
I mean, as much as amazing and damage dealing has it has been, it is kind of a non-factor at this point because of the presence of Julian all the time all around the map, and he wasn't able to do anything that much. Maybe they should try to counter the mid trio, pick
Indeed,
up something that's very early. Yeah.
what the Ling is like a
My
gamble
mission
pick
is
for
to
most of these
protect
Your
drafts
middle
Mars.
because
is
it
Yeah.
can
ready.
work for you, it cannot work for you. It depends how your team can play around the hero. So it's like a high risk, high reward type of gameplay. And I think in
Absolutely.
this tournaments type of big game where everything is on the line, and one this kind of game where where losing can just get you
Who said
eliminated,
there are no
you do not
shortcuts
want to
in
Your
take those
life?
team
I
gambles. You
is
want to
literally
go
ready.
for some
invented
staple
one.
picks, or unless you're highly mechanical gifted on those heroes, you
Mhm.
can pick those heroes definitely, if you can play around. But you have to be constantly aware of the invades that can come through your way. So I think teams like Zohan really exploit on that part. When they see some squishy jungler, they will go for that aggressive jungle invades.
They have so much potential for picking up their comfort as well. But Johan, they are the one
I am
actually
the
taking
priestess
out
of
the
primal
Justin as
lightning,
well as the
the
Chip.
hunter
They
of
do
all
not
the
want to go
evil
for this
gods.
deadly duo that's always onto the banning slot. Well, two of the
Always on the way.
experience
Your
potentially
team
rumors
is
being taken
banning.
away by Team Move On. Well, I think they do want to go for another assassin again, taking out the XPs that have a high CC and damage as well.
You know what? I really like to use these funny terms when I see a Chip or a Matilda on the map, as well as a Louis,
Yeah,
Avengers
yeah.
assemble heroes. So it seems like we won't have those, end game moments in this game as the side of team. So are banning that for for this game at least, and it seems like, if the side of
Time to
team
take the field.
move
Your
on, they
team
lose
is
this game,
picking.
it might be end game for their side because this is the last chance they can get for that possible comeback and go for that, game three, where they can turn things around and go for a reverse sweep possibly. But again, with the bans coming in, we see, a lot of tanky heroes getting banned. But
Your team
okay,
Oh,
is picking.
that, we were talking about early jungle picks, and this time
yeah.
around Zohan starting, kicking things off really, really spicy with that Hayabusa in the jungle.
They are actually the one who was using that Hylos edits pick, I mean, ban to their advantage. And it's Hayabusa going into the first pick. Well, I haven't seen the Hayabusa into the
Wipe out
first
all
pick
the
that
injustice in the
much,
world.
not popularly. It's mostly into the second banning, the second picking phase. But the throw is gonna be locked away by Blade of Kibo. Maybe they do want to flex the throw, but most of the time it's gonna be going for the roaming. Well, the throw do have a mechanic that can counter the Hayabusa from the
Only
quad
love
solo as
and
well.
night
Your
Maybe they
are
should
team
go
is
for it.
picking.
everlasting.
Indeed. I
Oh,
mean, I just lost, what I was going to say after looking at the Gushing being locked in so early. But yeah,
okay.
it is what it is. With the Hayabusa, it's like you do have a continuous DPS throughout the game because the Hayabusa can get online right from the
Mm-hmm.
fourth level, like right from the early minutes of the game when he reaches that
Swivel!
level four,
Swing!
where
Your
it
team is
seems like the
picking.
side of Team
Flash!
Zohan are up for some
Not bad!
mischief because they are locking in a lot of assassins for their side. So it's going to be really interesting to see how will they, play this draft. But for the side of Team Move On, they have that Sicilian as a late game insurance, and they also have a Cho. This time around, it is on Blade of Kibo, so we might see him in the roam position, not in that EXP. But again, the Cho does, has the ability to lock those squishy assassins as well as the backline heroes. So I think that's a good pick in this game. But again, we don't know what the side of teams Zohan are cooking. So
I
we
am
might
not
have
the
to see
only
for
one
that.
Your
bound by
team
these
is banning.
Well,
chains.
the three assassins pick coming out for Johan is kind of a surprising factor for me, especially well if they do go for this pick, the Sicilian's not gonna have a good time. But the four is being locked away. It's just give way for him to activate his procs and then just try to go on Infernal Pursuit in most of the
Muscle of
Bling heroes.
iron,
Your team
bones
They,
of
they
is
do
banning.
steel.
they he actually does good against assassin, but eventually I think it will be a lot of damage to deal with.
I mean, that is true. The Phobius is a lot of peel as well. They needed that peel for that Sicilian to come on, and because considering that Sicilian
Mhm.
is very weak, at least in the early phases of the game, he needs somebody to, initiate those fights, give him that space to farm with. And I feel, with the dive coming in from the side of team Zohan, that is a lot of dive for a hero like Sicilian because he's heavily reliant on that early game, farm. So and another thing the Sicilian is weak against is close combat. The melee heroes
The
is
immortal
really
one
Yeah.
something
chose
the
me to
Sicilian really
Your
vanquish the
struggles
team is
against.
shadows that
banning.
So he
plague
wants
this
to,
world.
have that good range before he can go for this team fight. So the dive with this assassin is really difficult for a Sicilian to do that. But again, with the bans coming in, we can see the Garrett Kasha getting banned this time around. So I think that is just a deny pick coming in from the side of Team Move On. Did not want the side of Team Zohan to pick that. But I think looking at the
Mm.
draft so far, I think they might just go for 5 assassins at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that.
Well, I mean, if they do pick out three, I mean, five assassins, all of the times, most of the time, they might want to go
Experience
for
the
the Sicilian,
Your
right?
euphoria of
team
Because the
is
suffering.
banning.
Sicilian does need to survive on early stages of this
Time
game
to
in order
drop
to
the
stack
beat
up
of
as
Your
much as
team is
possible
picking.
to try to deal the required damage to try to carry the team into the later stages of this game. Maybe they should go and try to focus on the Sicilian as much, but the grandeur being taken away. I think
See
they read
value in
out that
me?
the
Your
Johan
team
might
is
also
should.
try to go for the marksman, not 5 assassins. They cannot be sure at this point.
Indeed, they have to take the precautions because even if the side of Team Zoan are having some fun, they need to
Mm-hmm.
be cautious because the things are online for the side of Team Move On, and one like
Oh.
loss, they might get out of the tournament. So they did not want to, you know, just give it up just because they lost one game. There's always a possibility for comeback. And I like to mention this for every single team out there. You should not give up just because everything is against you. There is a chance for a
Rise
very well
beyond
comeback. You just need to
greatness
play your
and
cards well. And
reignite the
so far, with the
star.
drafts, with looking at the draft from the side of Team Move On, things are looking pretty good. They have a pretty stable draft for that Cecilion to shine, but they are
Oh.
heavily
Your
relying
team
on
is
that
picking.
Cecilion. But what
The
we were
abyss
mentioning, the
faces
5 assassins
back.
did not come through, but there are still 4 assassins for the side of Team Zohan.
Well, I do actually think they do need more CCs. But looking at the side of team move on, I think this is a team compositions that's mostly gonna play for the Sicilian. They have three potential front lines that can solidify team and can prevent any internal gain coming out from the side of team Johan. But they do have to play into the late game. They have to be very very cautious in how the Sicilian is positioned so that they have to make him stack up as much as possible. Well, there is Uncle who is gonna have the last pick. I mean, they should go for the marksman, not fall into the trap of Zohan, I might say.
Time and tide wait for no
Indeed,
man.
and they will
Nor
listen to
girl.
you and pick that Beatrix for that goal lane so far. The drafts are locked in. It's pretty spicy for the side of Team Zohan to go for 4 assassins,
Mhm.
but again, this does bring in that element of fun in this tournament. We do not want every single game to be too serious and all about
Mm.
the high game mechanics. Sometimes we need to just see a different side of these teams, and that is what the side of Team Zohan are bringing in this game. But again, you should not underestimate a team like which has so high caliber, such as the side of Team Zohan. So, they can put that end game, like I mentioned, for this time around. But looking at the draft, it can be anybody's game. It's very difficult to choose one side, at least for me. What do you have to say for that here, Debbie?
I would say I think team move on have the better draft because they do have all the popular picks and the important picks and the CC's requirement, the DPS as well. I think I'm gonna
Welcome
lean
to
towards team
Mobile
move on this game.
Five
Okay, to our
seconds
lovely
till the
viewers, you
enemy
already
reaches the
heard her.
battlefield.
And for
Smash
anybody
them.
who just joined in, welcome back
Ultimates
to
deployed.
the second match between Team Zohan, who are on the blue side, and Team Move On the red side. So this is the MLOS Mobile Legends Orisa Series Season 1, and we are kicking off the pre-quarterfinals. The winners will move to the next round. As for the losers, the team getting defeated will get eliminated from the tournament. So right now, nothing too crazy so far. With the draft, we thought something crazy would come through, but again, on the mid lane, there's a lot of poke coming in onto Nemesis Prime, and he might get taken down. It seems like okay. Look at the flicker coming in from the show, and I think that he will get unpunished for that.
Oh, there we go. That's Selena Young. It's actually onto the Selena ring. Well, Blade of Cabell taking quite low, but he will be safe now. But there was a good trade of events coming out onto the mid side, taking that mid lane damage as easy as early as possible and being able to take down Nemesis that early on. Well, I mean, that was a good trade coming out for Sut to kill because he does want to have that early game, right? To have the stacks, to have the space to stack up as much as possible. Well, Nemesis do have the Petrify as well. Well, he have to be very good in positioning himself so as to not be caught by Nemesis Prime.
Yes, you're indeed right. They if they overstep a little bit, they can get heavily punished. The punish is really high from the side of Team Zone. I mean, Team Move On right now. You can see they are trying to prior that mid lane control as the Cushion is trying to go in onto play of Kibo. He's caught in the mid of two
Oh.
people, and that Ogi has shadow kill will get him taken down, and that is a kill going to the side of Team Zohan. But again, on the top lane, 3 members are rotating. But I don't think so. They have enough damage to take that tanky Faden down yet, but the turtle will be the prime contest for now. So let's see if the side of Team Zohan want to contest for that.
Well, they can go on and try to contest it for that because, I mean, they do have the dive comms that usually they need to try to take the turtle, but it will be... Oh, the dragon.
Oh, he's going in with the Black Dragon from, and here comes Fanny with the steel cable. Won't get the damage, but Yu Zong giving a lot of knockup, taking a lot of damage as well. Will get taken down by that OPS as he's not stopping there. He will go for a double kill. Athena Young get taken down as the Ogi Shadow kill will get used onto Cable, and he needs to be careful. He has taken a lot of damage. He does not have that Abrasive Wrath yet, and he will eventually fall. As you can see, the flicker from Short to Kill will take him down as Dusty Mizo just got that blue buff with the help of his Retribution and will try to back out because he does not have that Ogi Shadow kill anymore. So far the game is so back and forth. But okay, the stun did not connect. Go on.
It's gonna be okay for now, but yeah, Gibble did overstep a little bit on his part, and he had to pay the price for that. Dusty did have the Shadow Kill to try to take him down, and the support of his teammates as well. That was a kind of an overthink from his part, but I would say they do have that lead now because of that small play coming out. Oh, Nemesis Prime taken very low, and he has to be punished for that. That was not a good ambush, I would say. I mean, he didn't have the reasons onto the other members of move on. So yeah, he will eventually fall onto that.
Definitely going again on the top lane, you can see, but both the lanes are having a fight, but I think the top lane is the one where the fight is continuing as Faden is taking a lot of damage. He will proc that, Shard residue to sustain a little bit longer as the rotation is coming through from Nemesis Prime. He is trying to eye for a kill as he spots the Table G Oja from that bush. I think they will be more careful, but again on the bot lane there is an ambush set up from the Chow. He wants to go in, he goes in the flicker. Knock up G Kundo, and that kill will be secured by Uncle with the damage from his guns as they are having the prior for the turtle once again. Look at the position from Athena Young. He is setting that ambush with Nemesis Prime, and he goes for the stun, and the damage will not be enough as he uses that flicker to get that kill onto Uncle, but that stun is there, and he will get traded for that aggression as Dusty Mizo will take him down. Uncle did not survive for too long, and for the bot lane, Nemesis Prime will also fall as Win is trying to find a retribution for all that, kills that is going to the side of team. Move on as the Wave of the Dragon does connect, and he's trying to stop Win from using the cable, and he will fall from the damage of Shoot to Kill as the side of team. Zohan will get that turtle, and here comes the aggression from the side of team Move on just to, find some redemption, but I think they will not, hurt you any longer as they're backing off.
Well, that was the reply from Dusty, right? You take down my teammates, I'll take the turtle, and that's a good trade that they will say. Well, the Princess has been popped onto the top side, but there will be no casualties. But Athena taking down Uncle so easily with the Abyssal Arrow. What a good trade coming out for Athena. What a good stun. What a good read of the map. The top side.
Look at the top lane. Oh my goodness. So many kills coming through for both the sides here. Devi again on the middle. You can see the way the dragon does connect onto Athena Young. He is trying to just survive a bit longer. Kibo needs to be careful. He needs to, there's nobody to support him. But again on the top lane, there is a 2v1 going on. But I think Cable will just try to clear that wave as Estimizo is trying to go out with the shadow. But again on the bot lane, Fan is taking a lot of damage. And, they need to be careful for those overstepping for the side of team. Move on, because it seems like the punish is also there from the side of Team Zohan so far.
There's so many clapbacks, right? Whenever they take down one of the members, it's always a backup there. And it's always a kill coming out from Johan as well. But the toe pick has been doing quite well for Blade of Kibo, right? Whenever there's a team that there's a person that he wants to set, it's always the Way of the Dragon always committed will be a sure kill for them. It kind of works more than it did into the better than it did into the first match. Well, they do have a better game now, I would say.
Indeed, with the draft difference, we can see the game is going slightly favoring. But again, you can see both the teams are trying to open up the map. And here on the bot lane, the Chowis is going for the play. And here comes Beatrix with the backup using the flicker just to get that kill secured as the Dusty Mizo is trying to go for the Ogi Shadow kill, but did not find that range yet. But again, on the top lane, it seems like... Okay, there's nothing much going on, but again on the bot, look at that damage coming through, but here Uncle needs to be careful because Nemesis Prime will secure that kill in his name. Again on the mid lane, the fight does not stop. As you can see, Dusty Mizo going in with the Ogi Shadow kill does not get the damage necessary to take anybody down, but this does give the prio of the turtle to the side of team Move On.
There's so much fight everywhere, and it just made us, question where to focus on. But there's so much trade-off events coming. They focus onto the goal as much as possible, but the turtle will be on the focus here. Faden in position, he does have the black dragon. He can dive in. There we go.
Oh my goodness, the turtle is still being taken by Cable. He's trying to chunk it down low before Dusty misses rotate, but you can see the Yuzong giving so much speed for his team, still surviving all that onslaught, but he does not get taken down as the damage will be there. But here comes Dusty Miser to get that kill on to shoot to kill, as he will take the shoot to kill down, I mentioned, but again, Faden gets taken down from the side of Team Zohan. A trade coming in from the both side, but I feel, Win really doing a great job pushing that bot lane, giving this side the advantage on that objective sector. But again, on the middle, you can see Blade of Kibo taking a lot of damage, but still not falls. I think he will be able to walk out with the concealed play, but bot lane. Oh my goodness, the fight does not stop yet, Devi. I just mentioned one side and the other side is fighting.
There's always fight onto the top lane, mid lane, as well as the bot lane. But looking at the itemization here, right? The steel leg plays coming out from Beatrix. It's just a first, right? Oh, the business, the stun ending on, right? And they're letting on the suit to kill, and it will be eventually falling onto the hands of Athena Young. What a good read coming on from Athena. That was such a unpredictable kind of stun, but he managed to land it so well onto the most important member of the side of Team Move On as well. But the top will be in the focus here. I think they did.
Oh my goodness, look at 3 members diving onto him, but he wants to go for that outplay onto Nemesis Prime as he's just going for the Infernal Pursuit, and he will get the knockup, and he still survives, but it's not for him long, because the damage will be enough to take him down. But here comes the rotation from that. We move on, and they collapse onto the side of Team Zohan, taking Nemesis Prime down as Faden is caught in the midst of 3 members. Still survive with a sharp red Shiryu as he's still tanking all that damage. As you can see, they're having a tough time taking him down as he's still walking out all of that. Oh my goodness, the sustain is just unreal from Faden. What a monster on that hero.
3 members was onto him, but he survived. Not with a low HP, but more than half of his HP still intact. What is that thing coming out from the Yuzong? Faden, I thought he was the one who goes into the mid lane trying to play the Valentina, the Sicilian, the Faramis, but he does so amazing on his dragon. Knowing full well the potential it has, the sustain it have, the passive, and he does it so well, trying to take on fights time and time again, being the initiator for his team with so many assassins. It does well for him, so good for him.
Oh, but Lord will be the point of target for this team. As you can see, another fight taking place as the Cushion will get that kill onto Uncle. But again, on the mid lane, you can see there's a lot of damage taking place. But the Lord will get secured by Cables with a good retribution, as Dusty Wizard was not there, as the double kill is secured for that Phobius, as the side of Team Move On are not yet to move on from this game, as they're coming for a comeback. What a play from the side of Team Move On. They want to take charge. They want to have a fighting chance in this best of 3 series.
They want to stay in this game. Knowing full well that the draft favors them with the CCs as it have Win taking quite low is gonna be in trouble. No, he's gonna be cabling away with that style. But Nemesis Prime trying to he was trying to infiltrate, but yeah, the mid lane will be in focus here.
But look at Nemesis Prime, caught in the middle of 3 people, will not survive all the damage, as the show was there to lock him down. And the turrets are falling left and right as the side of Team Move On are trying to real best. But again on the bot, and you can see a lot of damage being placed on Jotina Young, as will get taken down, and the high booster was able to get the kill onto the Sicilian, but he will back out. But Win, not the lucky fellow, will get traded for that aggression, as the turrets have been taken down from all the other lanes onto that second tier. The bottle in second tier turret will also fall, as a side of Team Move On are trying to push inside that base. Inhibitors, as you can see, they have the waves, they have the member advantage, but will they go for that aggression is the question, as the show is going for the way of the dragon on to Faden. He still survives, and here comes Phobius just to make sure that it's not Faden's day, as he's there to upset his fans, taking him down. But it seems like the side of Team Zohan will be able to defend for a little while longer because, oh wait a minute, you can see Athena
Oh.
Young being a bit overzealous going in will get punished. It seems like the early game advantage that Selena had is slowly wearing off. As you can see, the position from Nemesis Prime though, Dusty is also there. Oh my goodness,
Oh.
it seems like the side of team Move on does not know the damage being placed onto his uncle, but he will go with the outplay and the freeze just on time. The Winter Crown play coming in from shoot to kill. He will survive as Dusty Mizu does not get the damage he was looking for on the right members, and he will also get traded down. And that's the 3 kills going to the side of Team Move On as they are leading the goal department so far.
Whatever opening that they have, the Move On are capitalizing on that, and they do have the space to breathe now, so they are just trying to farm as much as possible. Well, I would say the Blade of Kibo's Way of the Dragon has been working so well for them, right? He do know that he have the DPS on his backside, and whenever he committed on to that Way of the Dragon, it's always someone that's gonna fall into his hands. But
Oh, look at the mid lane though. The fight is breaking pace as both the teams are going at it, but the members are falling from the side of team. Zohan as well as look at the Dragon Fade and putting in the work, trying to take members down left and right. But you know what was the problem? The problem was Phobius was not there, and the punish is just so unreal from the side of Team Zohan. As they are back in control, they are dying for that Lord. It seems like the side of Team Move On, they might want to look for a contest here, DB. Do you think they can go for the steal though?
when you are on a Fredun, I think they have to go for the steal, but there's something that they need to focus on. It's the Steve Wizzo, and he will be the one securing the Lord so easily with the stun coming on.
Indeed, indeed. As you can see, the Lord was taken from the side of Team Sohan as they are marching down the bot lane. You know, with the Lord, you can see they are clearing the waves down, but the side of Team Move On are back on the map. Do you think there will be a possible defense coming in, or will it be a game over for the side of Team Move On?
I think deciding, looking at the clearing potential coming out from the Sicilian as well as the Beatrix, they do have the clear potential for the minions, but the lore does have a thick HP. Maybe it will be a tanky lore, but there's no dive coming out from the side. Oh, talking about dive, there's Fanny.
Oh, look at Dusty Miso with the play, getting the kill on the big uncle, but he's caught in the middle of 2 members, not in the right place he wants to be, and here comes the damage from the side of Team Move On as they take Dusty Miso down, but you can see the waves are not favoring the side of Team Move On as they are taking the turrets left and right. It seems like the side of Team Move On have too much on their plate and they do not know where to start, as there comes a stun from Athena Young, but they do not want to go in for that. Obvious as on the top, and you can see a 1v1 going on. 2 members make it 2v1 as the fan is trying his best to survive, needing a lot of damage. Blade of Kimo needs to be careful. He's just recalling, showing his confidence on that hero, but the waves are still going in for the side of Team Zohan. They are pushing those turrets.
I mean, with these four, I would say, assassin picks, the dive coming out from them is too much to handle for Team Move On, especially for shoot to kill. But he has been careful on it. But I mean, he does have the threading, but there's a stun coming on.
Oh, they want to go in, but it seems like they are deciding otherwise. But again, on the top, and you can see Cable trying to go on for a 1v1, but here comes the damage from the Fanny onto Uncle, but he will miss out. He does not have enough energy. Can he back out is the question, as you can see Cable is trying to flank him from getting out, and he will get that knockup as well as a stun, but there is support from the side of Team Sohan to help Win get out of there, as the rest of the members are trying to collapse as the Chow is going in with the Way of the Dragon, but Dragon will use that, Black Dragon from defensively as the conceal play is coming there. You can see both the teams trying to collapse again as Nemesis Prime will use that, skills to get out of there, but it seems like the side of Team Sohan do not want to continue that fight as they know they have used a lot of resources already.
Well, looking at the plays for the side of Team Johan, I think they are just going for the split pushy type because they now know that they won't be able to win the team fights with so much tanky members and front lines coming out from the side of Team Move On. It just happens to be a little bit at their disadvantage. The Fredun taken quite low, but I think they are just gonna focus on the Lord. But the pressure coming on both of the lanes provided by Fanny as well as the Hayabusa. Oh, the Fanny is gonna be falling into the hands of the Phobias at this point. Well, the pressure is still onto the top lane.
Indeed, but look at the Lord being already started from the side of team move on. But again, on the top lane, you can see a 1v1 going on between the two members. But the outplay coming in. But here comes Nemesis to get that kill, and the Lord was being focused, but they need to recall on time. Otherwise, the side of Team Zoan might look for an end as the Beatrice is back on map, and you'll get the kill onto the Dusty Mizzo defending his base on time, and they might also get the Lord as 4 members from side of Team Zoan has already fallen, and things are not looking good for them as the side of Team Move On might look for an end with the timers being a bit long. They have the waves, they have the Lord advantage, and you know, something tells me they might go for an end game at this point.
Yeah, they do. I mean, Team Zohan does have the damage, but the CCs that the heavy crowd control they require so much into the later parts of the game hasn't been there yet. So they might be in trouble here, Win.
Oh, he gets a bit. We have the dragon locked onto him, and he will get taken down. I think that was not the best time for him to go for that solo split push, but yes, the Lord is marching down the mid lane. As you can see, the side of Team Cable are trying to manage this waves, trying to sink it so they get maximum benefit of that. Here, Cable trying to, be the frontliner for his team, giving that zone, but Wusong taking a lot of damage. Fails need to be careful, but the stun does connect onto Uncle, but he will walk out of that. As you can see, the Black Dragon being a havoc on the backline, taking the damage, and he will get the kill onto the members, and Zohan with the clapback, taking 2 members down as the Phaeton putting in the work, and Phobius trying to go in might be a bad decision as he uses the winter crown defensively, and you can see shoot to kill free hitting with a bad impact, and will get members taken down as the side of Team Zohan are crumbling from the damage of that Cecilia, not able to sustain as he is hitting like a truck. The waves are there and the members already falling. 4 members from the side of Team Zohan already taken down as Win the solo member for their side to defend it all, but it wouldn't be enough. As you can see, the base crystal just gets taken down, and the side of Team Move On will be able to equalize this match with a score of 1-1.
Victory!
What a comeback coming in from the side of Team Move On.
What a price you have to pay for getting all of that DPS, that damage dealing assassins onto your sides, and none of a marksman. With the lack of clearing coming on for the side of Jahan, Team Move On will be able to take this game and drag this best of 3 series into this final match.
Oh my goodness, like I was just thinking, the side of Team Zohan could end the game when they were pushing the top lane, but the timing of all that recall from Uncle was just so spot on, and he was able to defend his base right at the crucial moment when Team Zohan could have ended. So it seems like this will like linger longer for this game as the side of Team Zohan still wants to go for that third game. They went for that unorthodox draft, which we are not really used to seeing, but it was just a fun draft coming in, but it did not work for their favor. So it seems like this will be the final deciding game coming in from both these teams. And congratulations, team. Move on for having another chance to have that comeback. It's anybody game. It comes down to a BO1. So let's see if they can pull something or that upset which can take place in this best of one.
I am the
This is the kind
priestess
of
of
game where
primal
they
lightning,
have to
the
do
hunter
all
of
that,
all
right?
the evil gods.
They just go for the comfort and go for
Time to take the
those
field.
heroes
Your
that they are
team
very
is
comfortable
banning.
with. They know really well with. Well, they will be banned again onto the side of the team move on, and Bruno as well will be taken away by Johan. Well, it is a kind of a standard ban coming out on if you are onto the red side, because Bruno has been very amazing and you don't want to face it into your lane or face it into the later stages of this game where he can hit the turrets even without the presence of the minions. What a good ban for Johan as well. What should they go for here for Blade of Kibo?
They can ban out a lot of heroes. They can ban those fighter type of heroes. Maybe
Your
assassins,
team
what I was
is
going to say,
banning.
they could have banned as well, but it seems like this
Oh,
time around they banned that
Only
Hayabusa of
love
Dusty
and
Miso,
night
Your
and
team
are
is
there comes the
banning.
everlasting.
answer back from the side of Team Zoha. They did not want any of the Sicilian to be on the map, so I think that's a wise decision. Like, putting into account the side of Team um, Move On, were able to have that possible comeback because of that Sicilian in that late game. So banning it out was the right choice. They are learning about each other. I think we might see more target
Mhm.
bans in the near future.
This time around, they are gonna take Johan is gonna take away two of the expensive heroes that can scale very very late
Without
into
all
this
the
game. The later the
injustice in the
stages of the
world,
games goes, the easier the damage done. The more the damage done by these two heroes are. So I think onto the side of Team Move On, they are the one taking out the Cho, not them picking out the Cho for themselves, but Blade of Kibo was so amazing
butterflies
on the
born
way
by
he
thy
picked
wish.
up the
Team is
members of
guided
Johan with the
by
way of the
lantern's
dragon
light.
as well. Well, I think they don't want to face this Cho into the side of Team Johan, so they
My
are the
mission
one betting
is
it
to
out.
protect
Your team
lives.
is picking.
I mean, giving it out to the other team is a suicidal move, considering how both the teams have, utilized that show
I
in
am
both the
not
games.
the only
So
one
it
bound by
seems like this time
Your
around,
mutual
team is
suffering.
Prime
picking.
will get that grandeur on his name. So it seems like Nemesis will be rocking that hero on the goal in at least. But Win this time around will have that phobias.
Oh.
So it seems like a lot of basketball dunk coming in this time around. The NBA
Uh-huh.
star is free on the map, so let's see how will they take advantage, because last time around the same hero was
Sir,
going to the side
what's
of
your
team
command?
move on, but this time around they are stealing
Oh,
that Fanny, so it came through. But I think this wouldn't be a troll pick, considering Cable G Oja has that cable name, so he
table.
should be really mechanically good on that hero. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I would really want to see this Penny onto the jungle, not into the golem on Win when we saw that last game, but Win is gonna be the one rocking on that phobias
This
against
time,
the
Hope will
Hylos.
find a
Well,
way,
I want to see
choice is
how this
even
mine.
when
fare
all
out,
is
but
forlorn.
Prime,
Trust.
it's kind of a
Alpha
signature
is
pick at this
online.
Is
point
banning.
on the Ranger, but talking about signature pick, it is Dusty Miza on the fighter jungle, his prioritized hero, his one of the top, I mean, heroes that he's been using, it's the Alpha.
Indeed, that's a very good information to our viewers who just joined in. So it seems like the side of team, Zohan are having a
For
lot of prio
honor!
heroes for their side.
Your
They have a
team is
stronger
banning.
front line and a front to back composition, like we are always talking about. The DPS is also looking very good with that
Mhm.
alpha, a lot of true
Always
damage
on
in
the
the
way.
side.
Your
So that
team
Hylos
is
needs to be really
banning.
careful,
Oh.
diving in, because he can get
Muscle of
punished for that
iron,
aggression. But
Your
the
team
bones
draft
of
is
is
banning.
steel.
going really fast. Both the teams are really excited to battle it out. As you can see, a lot of tanks being banned from both the side. The rumors being just narrowed down. This Matilda, the I mean the Tigrel, as well as the Gadot Kacha getting banned. So there's already counting the Chow as well as the Edith, 5 rumors getting banned in this game.
Yeah, I like the decision coming out from Team Move On taking out the Matilda, because that's the deadly duo that we have seen on the Alpha Matilda as well as the Phobias, right?
The
So
Your
taking
team
it
seven
is
out, I
seas
think
are
it
banning.
is such a
my
good decision for
domain.
Team Move On. But the Kadita, I would say this is what a target ban looks like. Faden has been amazing on the Kadita, picking out the backline time and time again when he's moving around the
I
map.
didn't
We don't
cure
know
the
when he'll
pain.
appear,
Your
right?
I
There
team
are
is
so
picking.
much boosters that he can capitalize on, and he's used that to his advantage when he was on Kadita. But it's gonna be his signature pick, the Valentina that's coming out from Faden.
Indeed, the Valentina does really well, considering there are a lot of ultimates that can be copied with, that I am you ulti. It really works
Mm-hmm.
well when there is a good set type of heroes on the opponent side. But so far, the only decent ultimate that I can see her stealing is that Glorious Pathway, or that
Yeah.
Eternal Night from that Vexana. So let's see what the
I
side of
am
team.
more
Okay,
than
a
a weapon.
Julian.
Oh.
I'm just confused. I see
Oh.
that on Blade of Kibo, so this is gonna be most probably a Rome Julian coming in this game. But again, the Layla being
The Layla.
shown, and okay,
Time
they
and
did change
tide
it.
wait
I
for
was
no
just
Your
scared
man.
team
for a
is
Not
moment
sure.
there.
picking.
Looking at the Layla, I did not think it would come through in this game. But again, this seems like the side
Oh.
of team, um, what do you
Let's
call,
see.
Move on.
What's
move
beneath
Move
on,
these
on.
will
bandages?
swap that Julian for that EXP then perhaps, or they are going for a roam
Oh.
Fanny instead. Oh my goodness. Devi, what do you have to say about
So
that?
Johan was the one lacking the CZ the last game. Now it is potentially into the hands of Team Move On. That's the one lacking the CC. But they do have the Eternal God as well as the Glorious Power and the Law and Order that can stun the enemies when they try to back on them. But most of the time when you see a Granger, it's Beatrix. So it is a standard pick coming out from both of the teams. So I want to see how this fare out because they have I mean Johan does have the Alva as well as the Valentina. That's early game heroes that you don't want to face against.
That is true, like they have a lot of early game for their side, and it seems like, the Fanny might do well, but considering there is a Kufra on the opponent side, it's not that
Mhm.
easy of a task because
Welcome,
you are
Mobile
playing that
Legends!
Fanny on a roam position, so you wouldn't have that blue buff or the
5
purple buff
seconds till
for
the
yourself.
enemy
So
reaches
you
the
are,
battlefield.
as a Fanny, you're
Smash
a
them!
lot reliant on that energy, and once you go in, you get stuck. You don't have enough energy to come out at a certain point. So the timing needs to be really impeccable for their side. So it seems like both the teams are ready to take this final game as we are finally in the land of dawn, and it's a spicy, spicy match considering how the last two games went here, Debbie.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Johan are looking a little bit serious here because they do pick up their signature heroes, and I think they are just ready to try to take this game. But team move on as well, looking so solid on the picks that they have, just trying to battle out this as much as they can. But onto the mid side, I think Valentina Vexena will be the one having the mid prior with the clearing that it have, and they are the one actually rotating down very early on.
Indeed, the map is still peaceful, I would say. They are not trying for this, unnecessary skirmish. As you can see, the fan is going in on to Faden, and he will get taken down. An early first kill going to the side of team. Move on as they are leading the scoreboard. You can see Blade of Kivo showing that Cables just to flex a little bit, but again, I think that's a good lead coming into the side of team. Move on, considering they are the underdog in this best of one or in this best of three series. So let's see how will it translate the next team fight. As you can see, both the teams are setting for that ambush play. Shoot to kill really needs to be careful as they do not have the vision. And here comes a jump,
Oh,
but will not connect. Okay, but again on the top lane you can see another pressuring lane. There is the damage being placed onto Win, and he is forced to use that Ven to just survive, but the revitalize might be enough for them to take him down. As you can see, the clap back from the side of Team Zohan dealing a lot of damage, and Dusty Mizzle will get that kill onto that Hylos as he gets taken down, and the rest of the members trying to give the backup, but it's already too late as the side of Team Zohan might just walk away without getting any punishment for that aggression. And so far the turtle is up. First into the objective, it's like which team will get there first to get the river control.
yeah, they do. But the Alpha, I think the Alpha must try to try to connect the turtle, try to take the turtle onto his hands because he does want to get the snowball going. But it's Cable who's starting on the turtle first. They are in a good position right here. Team move on. Well, Dusty Mizzle driving in onto the Hylos.
Oh my goodness, you can see the glorious path they use both from the side of Team Okay, but again you can see a lot of damage being placed on Dusty Mizzle. He's just on the run, still survives, but again on the mid lane the chase is there, but they won't be able to get the kill. But the top lane dive coming in to take Dusty Mizzle down as the Fanny will also fall on the bot lane trying to take the Granger down. But Beatrix trying to go for that, Renus apathy won't find that angle or that, vision that he was looking for. So I think Prime will walk out without any punishment. So far, it seems like the turtle was secured from the side of team Move On as they are leading that goal department.
They are actually the team move on where the one actually getting the turtle, but the kill secure onto the boss side. Oh, there's a fight.
Oh my goodness, you can see the damage being placed onto the uncle as well as Kibo trying to go for the play, but he's just caught in the middle of it all. Kufra with the bouncing ball blocking the movements of that Fanny, punishing him as Dusty Mizo is going in. Uncle caught in the middle of four members, might get sandwiched, and here comes the damage, and Dusty Mizo will score another kill in his name as they are just trying to eye for that bot lane, but the rotation is there from the side of team Move On as they are putting that ambush. As you can see, Blade, I mean the Cable, Geoja, they're sitting very patiently as Faden will recall and he won't get that kill, but oh my goodness.
Oh, he was a second late, but they're Prime in trouble again. But this will be 2-0 again because Prime has been outplaying this Blade of Kibo. I mean, he's not living up to his name, I would say. But well, this is the second time he's falling, trying to dive into the tower onto Prime. But Prime will come out on top. He will survive with a sliver of HP time and time again. I think Blade of Kibo is done setting for the team. He's trying to deal damage, but onto the top side.
Oh, the glorious pathway used defensively, but Blade of Kibo wants to go in, and you can see Oja Jiku Cable Geoja, I mean, also going in, but he won't get the damage yet. As you can see, the Revitalize is used just to survive a bit longer as the Infernal Pulse is just used left and right as the fan is trying to get the damage, but the sustain from Win is just too unreal as it still survives. The Eternal Knight also used, but they won't get the kill yet as both the teams still struggle to find a, score on the board as the Win trying to go in, but the Flicker used defensively will help Shoot to Kill survive, but both the teams walking out without any kills. And the last neutral of okay, wait a minute. Again, Win. This time punishing that Win getting punished this time from that Fanny, but Turtle Pit, there is a lot of movement from both the teams. They are trying to find another engage. As you can see, the damage from the beast will go there, but the retribution on point from Dusty Meso as Hylas caught in the middle of 4 members will be taken down. And with that, side of Team Zoan again on the aggression, but the top lane is getting pushed by that Fanny.
That's the lack of engage coming out from the side of Team Move On when they are trying to contest for the turtle. The glorious pathway was amazing. I mean, it was a good timing to use there, but he didn't manage to do it. He was taken down very easily, and it will be, in favor for Team Johan taking the turtle, the kills as well. Well, when you are on the Julian, you was trying to looking for the kills onto the bot side.
Bot side out of the glorious pathway already used, and here comes the the glorious pathway from that Valentina too. But you can see the side of Team Move On not really confident to take that engage as the Hylos was too deep. Might get punished for that aggression as the members are still trying to take him down. He's sidestepping, but for how long? Prime will secure that kill onto his name as Athena Young is really patient onto that Kufra as he's trying to find that angle again so that they can take another member down, but it seems like they do not have any vision on the side of Team, on the side of Team, I forgot the name once again, Move On. It's just like, but again, what do you see? Athena Young this time getting punished, so
a bit of Kibo driving in again onto the Grander time and time again, and he's gonna be there to survive. He has a sliver of HP, but he's gonna be in trouble here. Will he be able to run away from this hot cable onto the picture? He will be the one finally taking down Prime into his own hands. That's one death for the goal leader on the side of Johan for the first time in this game.
Indeed, those godly moments that were coming for him did not come this time around, as he was just not lucky, I would say, or just not feeling it this time around. But you can see the last turtle of the game, but here comes the jump from the Kufra, getting 3 members locked on, and the clap back from the side of Team Zoan. The glorious pathway does get used, but it won't be to any avail as the side of Team Zoan will just take him down. The highest falling first, and next would be the Julian, a double kill for the Dusty Mizo as Shoot to Kill's running for his life, but it seems like he will be able to survive with the help of the Flicker, and the side of Team Zoan are on the aggression as they are trying to look for that mid lane turret. But again on the the bot lane, Dusty Mizo did not let that slide as he gets the kill onto Shoot to Kill. So it seems like Dusty Mizo took that too personal as the fan is going in onto Faden. He's taking a lot of damage. Will get that throat and also get taken down. But Prime with the damage will not be able to take Blade down as he cables out of that place. As again on the top lane, you can see Vin being so aggressive to clear that wave.
That this Freddy, she does have the blue buff now, and now he came into play. On the show he was doing amazing on the Way of the Dragons, as well as on the Penny. He's been doing his job very well, always trying to go onto the backlines, getting the kills. But there's
the knock from the Eternal Knight. Look at that damage being placed onto Prime. He will get taken down. Shoot to Kill also fall, and Athena Young gets taken next as the damages will be enough to take Dusty Mizo down. As Win caught in the middle of 2 members, just a little bit of HP, and Uncle will be there to deal that final gun damage to him to take him down. As the mid lane is getting pushed by the side of Team Move On, Faden just standing solo to clear that wave, but it seems like the side of Team Move On wants to go on to him as Faden needs to be careful. He does not have the vision onto anybody else, but it seems like they will get to see another day as the side of Team Zohan are finally back on the map.
16, more than 10 seconds left for the Lord to spawn and team move on are in position. What a turn of events coming on from them. They do want to stay in this game as long as possible, and they managed to do so by taking down the members of Johan one by one, falling onto the hands of the Beatrix uncle, doing a lot of damage onto the tankier members. But there's quick blade of Camille.
Oh my goodness, you
Oh,
can
he's
see the damage. Blade of Cable will fall, and next might be the Hylos needs to be careful. Oh, Cable Geoja also there, trying to give that vision for his team, but it seems like he needs to just back out for a little bit as the Hylos is chunked almost to 50% HP. As the Lord is being the focus, the glorious pathway used from both the sides. But Cable Geoja caught in the midst of it all, taking a lot of damage. Will also fall, as you can see. Hylos trying his best with a revitalized right, just trying to survive a bit longer. But the backup is just not there for this side, as the side of Team Zohan will score that lot as they are going in the aggression.
Oh.
With the play, but the double flicker will save him. Save the side of Team Move On just to survive that onslaught that was about to fall onto them. But Fanny, being the cheeky one, going for the split push onto the top lane.
there was a lack, the punishment for a lack of discipline for coming onto the side of Team Move On. They do have the space, they did manage to get the space that they needed for farming, but Kipo had to make a mistake right there. But there's a fight again.
The mid lane, you can see a lot of damage being faced. The glorious pathway also used with the Dusty Mizzle healing the damage, so much true damage coming through him as he will get double kill. But here comes Cables from that blade of Kivo. It was really good to see, but it does not deal enough damage. But Wind does fall in the midst of it all. As you can see, the Lord is marching on the top lane. Is in the favor of Team Sohan. They have the waves, they have the member advantage. There's 3 members from the side of Team Move On trying to defend this Lord. As you can see, Dustin is just waiting for the waves to crash in before he goes in. As Uncle trying his best to clear that Lord before it hits the base inhibitor. But Dustin will face that Spear of Alpha. And with that, the Lord does take that Holy Defense out as the members are trying to crack open the base. You can see Dustin going on to Hylos. He takes a lot of damage. The Glorious Path does get used. The Revitalize won't be enough as the true damage will take him down. And Cable Geo's a truck in the middle of what? Uncle also gets taken down. Dustin with a triple kill. On to shoot to kill as the side of Team Sohan recalling inside the base of Team Move On. Feeling the confidence, feeling the air of victory as Blade of Kivo trying his best to clear that mid wave, but it will be of no avail as the minions are marching down the top lane and the side of Team Sohan are looking for an end, and it seems like Blade of Kivo won't be doing enough to defend their side. Or wait a minute, Hylos is back on time. Oh nah, it's not happening today as the side of Team Zohan taking this game with a passion, winning this game and moving to the next round.
What a chain of event coming off. There's so many fights going on, and Dusty Mizzle, he doesn't care. He just wants to go onto the front line. I mean, I've seen that he's been trying to distract the team move on so that the Kufra Athena Young can just dive into the enemy backline and land the Tyrant's Raid so perfectly. What a good synergy from the team Johan. There were, I mean, sure there was some of the mistakes that team move on had to pay for, but most of the time it is the second of the Kufra and the distraction given by Alpha. The team is was what win them this game, I would say.
Indeed, the thing with having more than one engaged tool like the Alpha, like the Kufra, as well as the Phoveus, is that you don't know when this hero will go in. You might want to focus on one hero, you're distracted by one, and the next second the other hero is jumping on you even before you even know your HP bars will just get taken down. And the other factor is the grandeur dealing that damage from I mean from afar with his death sonata, with his bullets. It's just the sustain was there from the side of Team Move On. They had that element of surprise with the Fanny, but it's just their jungler never came online. He was there, but it seems like anytime he wanted to go in, the punish was so heavy and he could not do too much in those fights. As you can see, he's just in the 50% of the fights, I would say, like not even doing so
Yeah.
much damage, just 17%. He needs to push that early game really to the favor of Team Move On for them to, have that possible comeback in the late game, as that Beatrix is heavily reliant on those items. He has just two items, just 7,000 gold. It's not really enough, even at the 12-minute mark when your opponents are leading so much. And I would say the side of Team Zohan just played really well, even when they were in the back
Mhm.
foot, getting those disadvantageous traits. They did not lose hope, and they were aiming for that comeback.
Yeah, it was just one mistake that cost them that space that they so wanted to farm on. But it was a good fight coming on for them, dragging this series to the last match, best of three, to the final match, and eventually they did fall. But kudos the team move on.
That is true, but it seems like tonight Team Zohunt are the ones moving to the next round, upsetting the side of Team Move On, and just eliminating them out of this tournament. Sadly, their journey comes to an end, but we want to wish them a very good luck, and good wishes for their future endeavors, as we want to see them come back stronger for the next round of the next season. I mean, hope they just be the next underdog team that we talk about so much. But I feel, with that, we might have to come to an end for tonight with our games, at least for the pre-quarter of tonight. It seems like this was the last game, and Zohan will be the one scoring that victory for themselves. So, there be any final words? I did see the live chat a little bit. You have a lot of fans wanting your
Oh,
number, wanting a lot of things, but I think you should just check it out. But it seems like the side of team. I mean, you just continue with your input for this game.
I mean, uh, I mean, I would like to see more of team move on because of the way they are playing. Johan is not an easy squad to go against, but they did put up a fight so well with so many skirmishes all around the map, and they did came out on top at some point. But in the end, this is where they had to say goodbye. But I mean. There's so much more that we have to see into the future because there's still so many games that we are yet to see that are so many high there's so many big squads that's still playing, but I'm looking forward to that. Stay tuned for it.